Just let me be. I got a lot to say. I hope you don't feel no way. I hope you don't make the same mistakes when you blow the flame. You're kind of obsessive to me. You're kind of too strong on your feet. I can't say that I guarantee, but I know what you mean to me. I know, for real, I know the deal. So please set me free. Just let me be. I know, for real, I know the deal. So please set me free. Just let me be. Just let me be.
Welcome in, everybody. How are we doing? Good to see you. Who we got in here tonight? Wolfman, good evening. We got Gary, good evening. Chloe, Routledge, Spuddy, Reese, Finn, Ghost, Tyler, Mark, good evening, everyone. How are we all doing? Let me just get TikTok up and running as well, and let's get into the action. How are we all doing, guys? What have we been up to? Who we got? Claire. How's the kids? Good. They are currently fast asleep. The wife is out tonight for the time being, so we've got them on our little monitor just in case they make any noise. But yes, how are we all doing, guys? Welcome in. Pumpkin Fish, how are we doing? Good evening. Hello, Miss Cookie. Welcome in. How are we doing? Good to see ya. I could be better. Oh, no way. What's going on? Hope everyone else is also having a good evening. What are we up to? What have we been up to? Let me just put that down there. Drag that there, pull that there. Yo, Rob Sisson. Is it Rob Sisson or Rob? Thank you so much for the brand new Prime. Let's go. I appreciate you. Welcome in. How are we doing? Good to see you. Thank you so much. He has used his one Prime for the month, one free Prime for the month on myself. So you're absolute legend. I appreciate you. Welcome in. Straight in with the hydrate. Absolutely. Let's get it cracked open. The old. Hey. Thank you so much, Gary. I appreciate that. Can't go out tonight. Got no money. Oh, no way. Not good. At least you stay in and you feel nice and sober in the morning. What's in the agenda? Hopefully no loud bangs. Yeah, fingers crossed on that one. Big Buds, good to see you. Welcome in. How we doing? Just been traumatic night. That's all, mate. Has had head. Oh, no way. Oh, well, hopefully we can get you just to sit down, relax, do nothing for the evening, and enjoy. We'll try and entertain as much as we can. Not that I'm a brilliant entertainer, but we'll see what we can get up to. We've got Billingham coming in with a 17 months. Gosh, thank you so much, Billingham. How we doing? Good to see you. Hopefully you get better soon, Miss Cookie. Hopefully you get better soon. The Gamer, good evening. Yo, Mike's here. How we doing? Big Buds, how we doing? I'm good, mate. Enjoyed your streams, Pascal. Hey, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you for coming back. That's the main thing. Thank you for coming back. Let's get go live. There we go. I wondered why TikTok was quite quiet. We've now gone live on TikTok. Good evening. Hayden, good evening, sir. How we doing? Bosh. Good evening, Deggy. I have only just got Twitch so I can watch your streams more. I just want to know, I've been watching on YouTube for about a year and streams are honestly amazing. Hey, love that, Pumpkin Fish. Thank you so much. I appreciate you coming over to Twitch. That is very kind of you. And yeah, thank you so much for your support, as well as everyone else in the chat. Thank you to you guys for the support. Honestly, the last couple of months has been incredible. The support is shown. To be sitting over 600 subscribers for a considerable amount of time is absolutely unreal. When considering a couple of months ago, we were just sitting on 200 on an average. To think that we've, you know, honestly, it is amazing. So thank you to everyone that has obviously, one, supported me, one, gone and subscribed, but obviously 3, just being here in general. It makes it a lot more enjoyable when you guys are here, because I can obviously have someone to talk to as well. So Steve Collins coming in with the 11 months. Gosh, thank you. And we've just had a hype train started. Let's get that hype train going. Not only that, we've also got over on TikTok. Paul's coming in with the first manifesting. Paul, you legend. Let's go, Paul. Thank you so much. How are we doing? Caden's over on TikTok. And we've also got Lucas coming in. Good evening. We are currently chat. One thing that you may not know about TikTok, they have every week, they have weekly rankings. And something that I watch other creators do all the time. I'm not really a fan of going live and sitting there trying to battle other people, and obviously trying to get as many gifts as I can to get up the ranks. But sitting on, you know, doing gaming, stuff like that, people that have donated to me is absolutely incredible. And they have a gaming weekly, because obviously you don't battle, you're just on gaming. And there's a gaming weekly, so it's a lot less numbers. However, I'm currently sitting number 34. I'm 257 diamonds away from number 33. Now, that is incredible. The weeklies is something that I never thought I'd ever get near. So thank you so much to every single one of you that obviously has gone through that side of things. It's incredible. So I appreciate everyone that has donated on TikTok and got me to 34, which is insane. Thank you very much. Amy, good evening. Jessica, good evening. Here we go. They're here. How are we doing? Thank you so much for last night. I appreciate you guys. Brandon, good evening on TikTok as well. Coming in with a hype train. Let's go. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate you. We've got a level 1 hype train on Twitch to kick off the evening. And then we're going to get straight into some action. I see the hype train emotes. When me and my boyfriend are drunk, you know what we're like. Absolutely. Challenge. Can we get out of PD tonight? Hopefully, Hayden. Hopefully, we'll get out of PD at some point tonight. So we'll go in and see what we can get up to. Neil, good evening. Reese, good evening as well. How are we all doing? Right, let's get ourselves into the city, shall we? My last location. Let's go, PD. Here we go. Reese's coming in with a heart meet. And then Paul's giving out a 10 gifted. No way, Paul. Giving out 10 gifted to start. Wow. Paul, thank you so much, buddy. That is incredible. Gosh. Wait. We got ourselves healed before we went last stream. So why is it taking me back in? Nah, this can't be right. I've literally just spawned in dead. And I honestly got... it's not saved the last 5 minutes of me.
Stocking up on supplies.
GC1, radio check?
I'm clear, sir.
Is there anyone free in the police station at all to come out to the front of PD?
Yep, come.
Thank you.
Stay fast, now, sir.
What do you mean, at the front or in the back?
Yeah, out in the forecourt.
Yeah.
Oh?
Hello, mate. I seem to have had a dodgy flight in. I'm not sure why, how.
Dear.
Alright,
Let me take you 2 inches.
I can do CPR.
If you can, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Can you?
Yeah, just leave me, buddy.
Right, 1 to QC1.
Yeah, copy.
It's fine, he's had a dodgy flight, that's all.
Camera not working. I'll get
Call NHS.
It's all
Thanks, mate. Oh, Jesus.
No worries.
Wow, I've never seen so many people come to GC1.
Fight?
All of a sudden, yeah. Sorry, mate. What did you say?
I thought we were going to call NHS, but you're up and alive.
Yeah, I honestly, my last shift went down to the hospital, got myself treated. It was all okay. Yeah. And then obviously went stay at 11. And obviously I've had a bit of a dodgy flight, and someone decided.
I got a present for you, sir.
Okay, thank you for that, mate.
GC1.
Oh my god, you gave me a coin.
I have indeed,
Yes.
sir. That's my present for you.
Do you mind if we have a quick chat in the appointment room?
Have a what? Sorry.
Quick chat in the appointment room.
Yeah, absolutely, no problem.
Yeah. Inspector Sizzler, you wanna come with?
Thank you, guys. I appreciate obviously the support.
You know, worries, mate.
Top man, appreciate you.
See you in a bit, sir.
Take care. Paul, man, coming in with another 5 bomb. Another 5 bomb. We've just smashed our goal for the stream already. Wow. Paul, thank you so much. That is incredible.
4-3 going off-roading.
That is incredible. Jessica's now coming in with a train. Wow. Jessica, all I can see is just this massive train going across my screen. What is going on?
Alright, Mr. GC1, how are you, my man?
Very well, yourself?
You alright? Yeah, I'm fantastic. Response. As commenting yesterday, we've introduced a short briefing that we have every day
Okay.
after 7 p.m. storm. This is to ensure students are getting taken out by certain response unit
Yep.
PCs, and to ensure anything that's happened really the day before that's really put in place
Cool.
in that briefing.
Yep.
It was McNuckles' idea, and we've done it today, and it's currently working fantastic.
Good. That's what we like to hear.
I've done 2 inductions and 2 interviews today.
Yep.
Looking at another 2 inductions coming forward this week, and we have around 4
Evening,
or
GID.
5
Welcome in.
interviews on Sunday.
Amazing.
And 1 interview on Monday. I don't want to reopen applications until we've got all of the students through. Otherwise, we're going to have more students than PCs.
Yeah, absolutely. We want to try and keep that balance, don't we?
So currently, I'm quite happy the way response is running. Personally, I don't know from your side, obviously, what else you want to implement for response.
So ultimately, I think it's just we're obviously pushing it with traffic side of things, and I was speaking to Simfields regarding it, and we need to make sure we keep response exciting. Now we've got all your subdivisions, your K9, neighborhood watch. You've got obviously the marine unit. We've got obviously public support when it comes, and various other small little bits like that. What I would like to see is you guys having a grip of the shift, even at 7 o'clock, and going, right, how many officers do we have on? Okay, if we've got 7 officers on and 2 students or 5 students, etc., let's just say as a ballpark figure, 10 people on. We actually did CID training the other day up in Sandy at the Jumping Jacks bar. We were just doing training there, going around trying to collect some evidence after it. We'd set up a situation. Sure enough, we went behind a trailer and we found loads of weed plants. Out of the blue, completely out of the blue.
Wow.
We're also starting to see, obviously, the house robberies. We're starting to see these sort of plants coming up and various other things.
Do you know what me and Sizzler have been saying? I was patrolling with Sizzler a couple of days ago, and what people seem to do is
Jessica, thank you so much for that
trigger an
train.
alarm on one house, so pretty much all units that are on go to that house robbery.
Yep.
And then go to a completely different house on the other side. So they'll have like a gang or a group of something.
Yep.
So they have one team on one side of the city and one on the other side, and trigger one alarm, and then they have full potential of possibly getting that other house robbery. And
so what I would recommend then, neighborhood watch, and as a prime example. Now, neighborhood watch, if you've got 10 people on, swap around an hour at a time or something like that. Get 2 people in one of your unmarked vehicles, response vehicles, in a neighborhood watch style, and set them out to go and do some observations of the neighborhood areas where they're observing for the likes of obviously the house robberies, the vehicle thefts, stuff that is something different, or even potentially looking at the gardening aspects of the city as well. You could be doing stuff like that. You could also be setting out a team to go and do some marine unit. So get them to go and, 2 people, go get a boat out, have a little patrol of the borders. Just see what you can find on the borders, because I know a lot of people try and hide stuff out the way, sticking stuff on the borders or on the beaches, stuff like that. That's a prime location, in my opinion, to be out the way, because there's no police officers that are going to be pushing themselves out that far. You've got NPAS, the same sort of situation, doing little observations, just keeping people entertained and doing something different rather than the general day-to-day dispatching.
I had an idea of replacing MPA.
Yo, Paul Walker's coming in with the heart, meat and the nose. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Team Fits.
Same criteria almost.
I've got Q points. That's why. FaZe, good evening.
People that are trained.
How we doing, buddy?
And the vehicles will be quicker than the response vehicle.
Yo, Romeo Delta's coming in. Guys, we smashed the level 5 hype train. Thank you so much.
You know, all the like violent crime stuff.
Yep.
Sort of stuff.
Yep.
That could make things a bit more interesting. Making people want to stay in response for that.
Yep.
To get the advanced driver training. Obviously, they would just be sold for response, rapid response, not for pursuits.
Yep.
Just a fast response unit to like store robberies, etc. I've put it across to Wick, which has been a bit off and on at the moment. I know he's got a lot on.
Yep.
So that's a possibility.
The thing is for me, right?
Yeah, go on.
With response, obviously you're the biggest unit. You're the most able unit with the different subdivisions you can do, and you're also, in my opinion, probably one of the most exciting because, like, you know, with traffic, you've got your fast cars. When you're talking in regards to traffic, there's small little operations you can do like speed traps and, you know, traffic stops and fast pursuit stuff like that. That kind of there's a limitation, isn't there, with being a traffic unit?
Yeah.
Armed, you've got the same. You've got guns, so you go to your shootouts, you go to your hostile situations, and then what, you know, you don't really have the fast cars. You don't really have. You've just got guns essentially, and you go and do your shootouts and all that lot. But with with response, you guys have got literally everything. You know, you've got the cars, you've got the dogs, you've got the boats, you've got the helicopters. You've got public support if we need to get it up. We've got unmarked vehicles. You know, there's so many different avenues you guys can push for.
I don't think we have got any marked yet.
But the neighborhood team, once we get that up and running, you know, that I don't know if you've seen this section within our email that I've obviously put.
That's obviously what I wanted to talk about because I really want to push for these
Oh,
subdivisions.
Jessica, I see that coral coming in. Thank you so much. Kai, also with the nose. Thank you so much, guys.
Because we don't have enough units or whatever.
Let's go.
But
thank you so much, guys. I appreciate you.
Only a sergeant, but I really want to push response.
Yep.
To its limits. You know, if a handbook needs
to
be
made
for a neighborhood, I'm happy to do it.
Yeah.
If things need to be done for marine or public order, I know a handbook's already made for public order.
Subdivisions are to be deployed, but unfortunately, we don't have the numbers.
No,
that's the issue.
I get that.
The thing we need to get over first.
ADHD, how we doing? Good to see ya.
Well, that's what I mean. So
once this is all in, we can start pushing these subdivisions.
Over the next few months,
yeah,
I think we'll definitely have a good, strong recruitment response team. With the way the recruitment is going at the moment,
yeah,
I've got people coming up to us and asking when applications are opening because everyone's wanting to join.
Everyone wants to join. Yeah, it's brilliant.
Everyone wants to join.
Everyone's doing is brilliant.
Which is good. But then once we're finished with the current student officers, they've then got a different job.
But don't forget though, although they're coming through the recruitment side of things, but we need to have the infrastructure set up so they don't come in and go, I'm going traffic or I'm going armed. You know, already have that set mind. You want them to turn around and go, I want to go response, I want a dog or something like that because it's active. Excuse me a second if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Hello?
Oh, is this Tom?
Speaking.
Hiya, Tom. It's Callum.
Hello, Callum. How you doing?
Yeah, I don't know. I need to speak to you, really.
Right, okay. What's going on?
Oh, I'm currently in a cafe eating popcorn because I've been suspended.
Oh, blimey. Okay. If you give me sort of five minutes or so, I'm just in a current meeting and I'll call you back.
I would recommend speaking to Willie because he suspended me.
Right. Okay, no problem. I'll get in contact and I'll call you back.
All right.
Cheers. Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Oh, fucking hell. Right.
In regards to training for student officers, for now it kind of feels like a personal training, and I feel like personally we need a new induction handout for students.
Okay.
Because stuff like adding, let's for example DNA.
Mitch coming in with the noses as well. Let's go. Thank you so much.
Put the DNA in there, but it really needs to be added to a tag. Because if we find DNA somewhere else, it's so helpful.
Sorry, what? you can put their DNA tag in their profile.
Yeah.
So
Many students I've come across the past few days, another two today, where they've put it in the report, but they haven't put it on the profile, which is, it's all right. You know, they've still gone with the report.
Yeah.
But it's just a case of, if we find the DNA in a different circumstance, totally different crime scene.
Yeah.
It's so helpful for us to find it in ticks.
That's what your job is, Obama. Make sure that's put it down to them.
There's a lot of officers as well. There's a lot of MDTs I'm seeing though, even from actual officers that haven't got a clue. And I think sometimes we need to cramp down on that, because ultimately, like I was speaking to someone yesterday, and it was in their notes rather than their tags. And it's important, it needs to go in the tags. And obviously I have gone to efforts to make a tutorial video for everyone to understand it. And if people aren't watching it, then we need to obviously make sure we pull them up and go, this is what you need to follow. Because ultimately, there's no point of doing our job, or there's no point of me introducing CID into this situation if people can't do the basics. Because ultimately, that's what they need.
Intake. Yeah, I think it's just a case of getting them trained.
Amy's coming in with a puppy love. Let's go, Amy. Thank you so much. Guys, what are you doing? You're smashing it. We're nearly number 31.
Just made a small error. Make sure you're putting this there, and but other than that, I'm happy. Like today, we've had a guy called Joe Santana. He's worked in the United States for a number of years and has no clue on British police.
Yeah.
I was training him today. I said Section 32, explained to him what it is.
Yeah.
10 minutes later, I asked him, and he told me. So it's just a case of maybe spending some time with students.
Absolutely, 100%. What I don't want to do is, quality over quantity. I don't want us to bring in more people than we can handle and take away that personal aspect of it. I would rather be standing here policing the streets with 5 excellent officers than 30 inadequate. We want to make sure when they're coming through, it's our perfect opportunity as students to work with them solid and get them up to how we want them, because that's the first impressions always count. First impressions is what leaves them and what follows them. So if we're not doing the basics ourselves, that's what they're going to see and that's what they're going to inherit, and we're going to have a real uphill battle.
Excuse me.
Other than that, is everything okay?
Everything is absolutely fine. I just wanted to get that off my chest.
No, absolutely, no problem. I'm always here. But it looks like I've got quite a bit to deal with tonight now, apparently.
Yeah. If you need anything from me, anything doing, anything making, just give me an email or ring me in city.
Amazing. Thank you very much. As I say, all I recommend is just make it interesting and make it keep people active. So trying to split people off into smaller subdivisions just to rotate it around and keep everything fresh in their minds.
Well, currently I'm doing most of the interviews, so when I conduct them, I will make sure, obviously, I do explain to them, look, we have this division, we have that division. If you want to, I know you want to go to traffic, but we also have public order, transport, neighborhood, marine, canine, and NPAS. All that. Amazing. Just put it out there. But so far, a lot of them have said they want to stay with response. So
good. That's what we like to hear.
Yeah. So I know that we don't really want to have meetings, but yeah, we're gonna go out there, kick some ass.
Yeah, do that. Good stuff. Thank you, guys.
Right.
Keep up the good work.
Thanks, Murray. Can I have a sec, boss?
Yeah, go on.
Leave it to it.
Okay, no worries.
Apologies for that. It shouldn't have come straight to you for that. It should have gone on to chain of command.
Yeah, of course. Obviously, like I say, I'm here. If you need me, then obviously push it up. But I like.
Should be doubt. He's got good ideas.
Yeah.
But obviously, your time's a bit more crucial than that's what I'm here for.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Wick and Knuckles are here for.
Yep. Agreed.
But yeah. Yeah. So I don't think any of them are in tonight. But however, comms are shabby again.
We now have the radio members' names constant, so just go down the members, and if you can't hear anyone or whatever, just give them a little radio and tell them to come onto radio 2, find out what they're up to and why they're not responding. Or if it is a little bit too manic, obviously get people across to radio 2 and have a little word with them.
No, it's literally, I was taken to hospital by Jenkins and we had no lift.
Yep.
Then another vehicle came to pick us up.
Yep.
And we witnessed an aggravated twat
Yep.
right in front of us, so we pulled him, nicked him. I requested prisoner transport.
Yep.
Loads of people on the radio, no response.
Well, I've just asked for some help at the front of desk, and I've had 7 officers turn up. So, yeah, maybe they're picking and choosing, but I would recommend getting on radio, finding out who's on, and if they're not answering, then obviously drag them to radio 2 and just ask. Just be like, oh yeah, Sizzler, you're receiving, and then you say, yep, okay, can I just borrow you on radio 2 for a sec? Take them on radio 2. Sizzler, I've just asked 3 times with some transport. You're on radio, but you're not answering. Why? And if he says, if you say, oh, I'm doing something, okay, well then just obviously try and get someone else to do it. But I'm not having radio silence. Just put it straight to them, and they'll soon start to realise that they need to get off radio if they're not available.
Sounds good.
All right, cool. No worries, I'll leave you to it.
Perfect.
I've got to ring Mr. Wally by the sounds of it. Willie Wilson.
Hello.
Hello, sir, how you doing?
Not bad, yourself?
Yeah, not too bad. I've just had a call from Mr. Law saying I need to speak to you.
Yeah, are you at station?
Yes, mate. Yeah, I'm just in my office.
Yeah, no worries. I'll meet you there. I'm just starting Polito. There was a store robbery. I'll head straight down and speak to you.
Yeah, no drama. See you soon.
Right. I'm going to bring Utility and his chief inspector as well, because this is quite this is getting quite a problem.
Yep, no problem. I'll wait for you down here.
Yep, no worries. I'll be down in a couple of minutes.
Cheers. Thank you.
Right. Bye bye.
Cool. So how are we all doing, guys? Hope everyone's having a fantastic evening. Like I say, got a bit of a few things to sort out at the moment with with what's been going on, and then we'll be heading out and about. We will be doing some police work tonight, actually catching some people as well. But obviously, as you know me, head of police, I've got to do some basic stuff to begin with, to find out what's been going on, if I've missed anything. Obviously I've only been away like less than 24 hours and stuff's happened by the look of it, so we'll find out. As my my head goes, it says, what did I put as my title? Something like, what drama we got tonight? Because there's always going to be something. But guys, how are we all doing? Someone is in trouble by the sounds of it. Yes, JD, how are we doing? Good to see you. Mitch is coming in with the roses as well. Guys, thank you so much. We have got the goal of noses tonight on TikTok. The reason being is because it goes towards charity. So we're trying to do what we can. For anyone on Twitch, YouTube, or Kick, we have got our ! charity. My wife is doing a skydive for dementia and Alzheimer's, so we're raising some money for that. Is Mr. Law the real life officer from last night? Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Jeff, good evening. How are we doing? Good to see you. Milky Bar, good evening. I want traffic. Okay, cool, nice. A lot of people want fast cars. Hey, how we doing, Craig? Good to see you. I can't wait for Sunday. Good evening, Bulldog as well. Tomo, good evening. Andy, hey homie, I checked out your video. Seems like new. Yeah, we won't be doing that, but thank you very much, Andy. Another bot. How we doing, Frosty? Good to see you. Knots, good evening. Chloe, good evening. Routledge, good evening. How are we all doing? Who else have we got in here tonight? Oh, skydive that brave. Yeah, I know. I wanted to do a skydive, ticket off the list, but I was like, nah, I'm not brave enough. And my missus gone, yep, I'm going to do it. Yeah, trying to be a cop caption. I was trying to fit in, trying to be a police officer, and I was like, no, that won't allow it. So it was like, just trying to be a cop, and I was like, that'll do. Everyone understands what cop means, so we'll go with that. Kai coming in with the sunglasses, you legend. Thank you so much, buddy. How are we doing? Good to see you. Who else have we got? Maddie, good to see you on YouTube as well. Hate UK Police was in there. BF was Hate UK Police was in their BF. Not sure what that means, but Joey is coming in. Just continued their sub prime to tier 1. Hey Joey, thank you so much, buddy. I appreciate you for continuing your sub. Thank you so much. Welcome in. How we doing? I'm good, not spamming the potatoes at the moment. Okay, right, is it a potato evening for you, is it, Kai? Is it a potato evening? On TikTok, you've still got the hype train on screen. Oh, my bad, guys. My bad, sorry. Was it just literally sitting there, hype train? Sorry, my bad. I didn't mean it to just sit there. Sorry. I'm very good, thank you, Joey. I'm very good. Adders, Deggy, sorry, mate. Did my gifted sub come through? Stand by. Let me just double check on my thing. Hey, Adders, why has that not come up on my system? Adders, thank you so much for gifting a sub to Champs. I appreciate you, Adders. Thank you so much, buddy. Thank you so much. Not bad, sir. Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I'm all good, thank you. Evening up the Hatters, big... Neil. Huge game tomorrow. Huge game. Luton, if anyone doesn't know, it's playing Sheffield United tomorrow. So Swifty Games, anyone knows Swifty Games? It's his team. Simon's coming in with the 400 bits. Fuck you. Oh, God. Hey, Knots, good to see you. Oh, okay, thank you so much, Knots. I appreciate you. That's better. Cool. Jessica, yes. Oh, it has. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Sorry. My bad. Twitch broke before half of GTA streamers lost almost all their viewers. Twitch broke before... Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Oh, yes.
Oh, wow. That's not good.
Evening, boss.
Evening.
Evening. How we doing?
Yeah, not bad.
Good stuff. Yeah, not bad. Not bad. Just come in. Just been bombarded as usual with different people wanting different stuff.
Joys of being GC1. Do you mind speaking up a little bit? You're a bit...
Yeah, there we go. Is that better?
Yeah, that's much better.
Wicked. Cool. Yeah, how can I help?
So the incident with Mr. Law today, and the reason that I suspended him,
Right.
is I come on duty, and there was 2 vehicles out on the streets already, and then I added a third. My vehicle was the only marked unit on the streets. So previous to me coming on duty, there was 2 unmarked vehicles on the streets and no marked at all.
Right.
I have then requested to Mr. Law
Yep.
that he get out of the unmarked vehicle. Not say get out, just asked if he could go and change into a marked vehicle.
Right.
Explain the reasons for it.
Yep.
To which I was greeted with the reply, this is my unit, boss. Sorry.
This is his unit.
The TVIU.
Right, okay. That's not really the attitude, is it?
No. To which I have then explained again the reason behind me asking.
Yep.
And said that no, this time it was an order from a superior officer to go back to PD and get a marked vehicle. To which he's then again, I mean the body cam footage is in the disciplinary log.
Yep.
To which point he's then told me again that no, he's going to kindly, politely decline that, I think was the words we used.
Right, okay.
Which is complete misconduct.
Did he give a reason why he was declining it?
Well, the only reason I got was that it was his unit.
Right, okay. And so obviously you've obviously come on duty and we want more marked vehicles, as you know me anyway. Who was the other unmarked vehicle?
It was one of the Mexican fellows, although when they were asked, they were very quick and straight back to PD and a marked vehicle.
Right, okay. So it wasn't just a case of it was him, it was everyone was told to go.
No. I spoke to I think it was Mateo was the fellow.
I've only met I think Diego maybe. So I'm not sure on exactly who that is, but yeah, I'm aware of them.
No. I mean, their initial asking of Callum was over radio as well, so they already heard that.
Yep.
On my way back to PD to speak to Mateo, he was already in the process of getting a marked one out.
Right. Okay.
So obviously, I wasn't expecting it to be over radio in the way that it was. I expected it to just be a simple, can you get a marked car out?
Yep.
And then it would be a, yep, no problem, boss, and off he would have done that. To which point, after all that had passed, he requested to speak to me in the office. After again explaining the reasoning behind it,
yeah,
he's then told me that he was still planning on going back out in an unmarked vehicle and was not going to acknowledge the order that I'd given him. Therefore, I chose to suspend him on the spot there and then until I had a discussion with yourself. He's demanded a Regulation 17 or something, which I believe is your domain when it comes to that kind of paperwork.
Well, it depends on the disciplinary level that you went down. What level was obviously you going for?
Well, it's complete misconduct and complete no regard for chain of command, so I was going to go level 2. Level 2.
Okay, so bear with me a second. Okay, so I've just pulled up the levels in front of me. So level 2 was written warning and conducted in PD office, which obviously you said you did. Is that right?
Yeah, I did speak to him in PD office. Yeah.
That's authorised by Sergeant Plus, and it's either the second offence, or if you feel it's necessarily, then obviously you push it to a second, which is absolutely understandable. And it's official talking to by a recorded letter. So have you produced that letter to him?
No, I've not. I believe you're the one with the format for the letters.
That's negative. We've all got the ability to do that.
I don't have access to any place in emails at that.
It's in our senior leadership chat pinned. I believe Swift has used it. I think even Wick may have used it a couple of times.
All right, okay. I can find that. I didn't know it was in there.
Yeah. So obviously, if it is a level 2, how come you've come to me for it? Because obviously, if you come to me, that's level 4, isn't it?
Well, I've not come to you specifically. Obviously, I've mentioned that I was going to have a chat with you and see how you would go it, because if I'm honest, the disregard for chain of command is been clear with Mr. Law since the start. And I think it's not just myself that knows that. I think you've even pointed out a couple of times in yourself that you can understand that he has a tendency to be that way.
Oh, 100%. And for me, as I've said with everyone, you know full well that Law has a way of obviously policing, and we all know that Law tries to be very correct in the way he does stuff and sticks to the law, but he then throws out the law to people, doesn't he? And he can come across very abrupt and very what's the word? Like last night, for instance, when I was chatting to him, obviously I was giving him feedback on his unit, and he obviously takes it a little bit personal, but the way it was coming across. But as we know, in order for someone to be disciplined and in order for us to follow the regular stuff, and if he continues doing it, we obviously had a situation with armed. Armed are very much the same, and we had to go down the necessary procedure. And obviously I put down that procedure. If he's done it before, then that's where we have that level warnings. Obviously, if he's done it before, he should have obviously had a level 1 warning to say, look, you're getting a little bit above your station here. Pipe down, I'm giving you a verbal warning, and then it's on his system. But he's had no previous, obviously, warnings on his system. So that's why, obviously, we've got to level 2 now. And then we say, right, now he's actually got a written warning on his system. We can then utilise that with over the next month. If he continues to, disobey or reject orders or stuff like that, and we can say, well, hang on a minute. On the 9th of the 2nd, at X, Y, and Z, I gave you an order. You refused it. So I sent you state 11, and I gave you a formal written warning level 2. And he then can't argue whatsoever with that, can he? Because literally it's in paperwork. He loves his paperwork, and that's game over.
Okay.
So obviously we need to... Oh, fucking hell. This is not anyone but Law. Oh, fuck. What's happened since you've stayed in state 11? Has anything happened, or you done anything, or?
No, he's not been on duty. He's obviously been away off duty. I've not seen him since.
Oh, fuck. Right, okay, because he just messaged me, or he rung me and said, I'm currently sitting in a coffee shop eating popcorn, and I'm currently suspended. I went, oh, for fuck's sake, what now? And he went, I think you better speak to Mr. Wilson. So obviously I've got off the phone, rung you, and then obviously this is where we are here. So he needs to be spoken about regarding his attitude, because obviously, as you know, you can't accept that. You're the higher up. You need to respect your orders regardless. And there's a way of going about it. If he didn't like your order, then he brings it back to the station. Say, yes, boss, no worries, can I have a chat in the station? And then obviously, I actually went out with him last night, and there was points on there that I turned around and said, look, we've only been with you for an hour. The bullet points and the reason you're doing this unit sounds really good. Really exciting what you're doing and stuff like that. But for the last hour, all we've done is chased around dispatch calls for vehicle thefts. And I don't believe there's anything in that unit that warrants you so far having a unmarked vehicle. And he said, look, granted, for the last hour, we've not really got into the certain stuff. However, after that, we've then done some specialist driving and pursuit. And in fairness to him, and I believe in Mr. Vaughn, both of them produced some really good driving and also got a capture, and the Vangelico two out of the 4 people were captured And obviously they produced quite a few fine MDTs to me and said, look, this is what we're capable of. And I said, okay, fair enough, we'll keep it going with that. But ultimately, you know, as the head of the unit, he needs to respect that. And obviously, if he doesn't feel that, you know, he should be in a marked vehicle, bring you back to the station and have a discussion in the station rather than politely declining, as you've obviously stated.
100%. I mean, myself and Utelli's thoughts on the unmarked usage has always been that they should only really be used if they're needed to be covert, because the difference in thinking when normal police forces are policing cities with tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of population,
yep,
or even millions in some cases population, whereas we are in a population of 130 people. Do you know what I mean? And as soon as 30, 40 people find out that we've got that blue unmarked Golf,
yeah,
it's useless. It's not covert. Because me and Utelli have just been out on it for about, what, half an hour?
yeah.
And we got nothing happening because everyone knew it was a cop car instantly. They were stopping at every red light. No one was speeding past us. Nothing was going on.
So
there was more cars speeding past us and going through red lights in front of the marked cars.
yeah. See, so obviously over the last 3.5 years that I've been doing this, it unmarked is very, very grey area and difficult because, as we know, you know, there's as soon as you bring it out once or twice, the whole population knows exactly what it is, etc. But that shouldn't defer us away from the reason why we've got it. Now, obviously, we know out and about there's always unmarked everywhere you go, etc. But in here, we have to kind of come up with an idea of what an unmarked vehicle is for. And the problem I've had over my years is most people just drive an unmarked car because, oh, look, it looks really nice. I'm driving a brand new spanking, shiny BMW or Audi, unmarked, no livery, and I look like a cool kid. And that's what ultimately I want to do. But that's the problem I have. I have it where you're not driving an unmarked vehicle because it looks cool and you'd rather prefer that over a marked vehicle. If you're going to drive an unmarked vehicle, you need a reason behind it. So if I stop you and say, why are you in an unmarked vehicle? Hello, sir. I'm in an unmarked vehicle because I'm currently targeting drivers that are breaking the limit by driving erratically or over the limit or vehicle thefts, stuff like that. So far, I've caught X amount of people. Here is my documents to prove it. Okay, fantastic. No problem at all. Yes, the Golf, and the same with all the other unmarked vehicles, will eventually become known to everyone. But sometimes it's not necessarily about being known to people. It's sometimes just having that small split second of, is that the Golf? Is that the police car, or is that not the police car? Before you know it, they've already obviously spotted or caught, etc. And it's really difficult, as we know, with a smaller population. Unmarked vehicles are really hard to keep covert unless you genuinely are going to use one of the locals and obviously buy a local vehicle that everyone is on the streets driving and you drive it absolutely 100% perfect. It's just natural that they're going to be stopped. So you need to work out what they're going to be used for and why. And as long as, you know, as from last night, from what I was hearing, there's elements where obviously it would come in handy having the unmarked, and there's elements where, you know, you could have done this in a marked vehicle. But it's, you know, it's doing something different. As I said to you before, the same with I've just spoken to a response. We've got these abilities to do different things, and we want to keep it exciting. We don't want people just driving around chasing dispatch calls all the time, getting burnout, getting bored, etc. You guys in pursuits, in traffic, have the ability to drive fast cars, unmarked cars, do checkpoints, do speed traps, everything. Keep utilising it and keep people active. I'd rather you go and do some police stuff like that and catching criminals than having to chase dispatch calls around all day and get really burnt out and really, disheartened because that's all you do. I want you guys to actually have a self-belief that, okay, I'm coming on tonight because I want to be able to jump out in that vehicle and I'm going to catch 5 people that have broken the law and I'm going to earn £1,500 tonight, or, you know, £3,000 in fines, something stupid like that, and give yourself that belief that that's why you're coming on, rather than just, oh, I'm coming on, see what drama is going to happen tonight or whatever, you know?
Yeah. I mean, it all kind of, my whole idea of traffic is we work as one unit. Everyone in the unit pulls together, we all do everything. It's not a case of someone has to do everything of this and someone has to do all of that. And the problem I've kind of found is Wednesday night we ran a checkpoint just under Legion Bridge, tunnel, sorry. To which I requested Law to be there and assist with the traffic unit and running it. At which point he's made a comment to one of the student officers that was there with his assistant about how the entire operation was a waste of taxpayers' money and a waste of his time, and he didn't plan on being there that long. Now, to me, that shows, as you're saying, someone that just wants to kick about and do the cool stuff. Whereas I expect all my officers to dig in, even on the small stuff or the boring stuff like training, and pull together. And that's just how I've always expected my unit to run. Tim, on his first night as a level 3 driver, done 6 level 1 trainings for response recruits. And that's the kind of that's why he's obviously not just that, but he also shows great productivity in the terms of he will go and do his own little checkpoint somewhere random in the city and just pull people in and do insurance checks on them. He's forward thinking, constantly proactive, and wanting to do everything, not just the cool things like TVIU. And the attitude that I've basically seen today is I don't want to do the regular traffic duties, I just want to do my little special thing. Now, yes, I put him in charge of getting the unit up and running and setting it up, but I did not say that it would be his unit in general, and I did not say at any point that that would be all he would do in traffic. So the concern obviously I've got is the negative impact that the attitude's having on the unit.
Of course, you know, we want to maintain our you know, high standards. We don't want people or cliques forming or negativity within and people refusing to do certain stuff. Had it within arms, trying to get rid of it and don't like it. Same with obviously traffic, in terms of if you've got incidents of law refusing or saying this type of stuff, this is where we need to be politically correct with these people. We know, you know, I could come up to you and, you know, run down a basic disciplinary with yourself, and you'll firm it, you'll be happy, etc. You'll move on. But for someone that we know that is very politically correct and, you know, will throw anything, a bit like the Bud situation where we had to go down a unfair dismissal or something like that. We've had a few of them and a few officers trying to claim it. We need to have these documents in place and the procedures just in case we need to deal with them type of people. And we know for a fact Law is definitely one of them people. And, you know, if you've had an element the other day and someone's brought it to you, that would necessarily, you could bring him to one side and say, look, I've heard this, what's your take on it? And if he says, yeah, boss, I thought it was a load of rubbish, okay, well, you don't say that to a student officer, you keep that and you bring it to me. Deal with that as your verbal warning. He's then already on a level 1. You then can move to him and go, hang on a minute, this is your second offence now that you've created this type of thing. I'm recording it down, putting it on a bit of document. It doesn't have to be headed. It could just give him a formal letter or, bulletin to let him know that he's fucked up, he's been a bit of a nullbed, and he needs to be dealt with. That's the only way that we can overcome these people and get these people out quicker, by following the law to them without pardoning the pun. And obviously, if with regards to today, if obviously he's failed to comply with yourself, as you say, you know, if he's refusing to go with your orders and he's unfit to obviously continue, then yes, of course, you need to stand him down. But we need to follow the correct procedures with a level 1, level 2, level 3. And if obviously 2, 3, and 4 require written, then we need to obviously do that. And we need to go with the relevant things. Just because if at any point is, you know, we'll bring him in a minute to obviously discuss this with him. And obviously I'll give him bollocking for failure to comply with yourself. But if he then goes to a lawyer or he goes to a rep or whatever, then we don't potentially have a leg to stand on.
No, 100%. I mean, thankfully I've been lucky enough with traffic that this is the first time I've ever actually had to deal with disciplinary. And obviously I've not been aware that those paperwork were there available for all, because the only ones I've actually seen were done by yourself, so I thought it was you that done them, but that's a mistake on my part that I'll correct in future. But in terms of the level 2 itself, we both know laws just kind of see that as what it is, and it's a nothing, it's a telling off. Whereas I would be more inclined to, now that he's done this and he's it's all over this TVIU, strip him of the privilege of it. Whether it's temporarily or permanently, I wouldn't do it permanently, to be fair, but whether it's for a week or 2 weeks or whatever, I feel like there needs to be an actual punishment for this, because TVIU unit, yes, it's a very cool thing, it's something unique to the city, but at the same time, if it's abused the way it has been, then it's not just going to ruin it for him, it's going to ruin it for most of the other officers in the unit that haven't had a chance to experience it yet.
I understand your point with trying to obviously discipline, but we have to follow the procedure. The procedure states first written warning by a sergeant plus and conducted in PD, and an official talking to and are recorded by letter. Now, the TVRU, with the greatest respect to traffic, and obviously maybe not necessarily a dig at yourself, but being the head of the traffic, then obviously it would file on yourself. You're talking about stopping someone going ahead with a subdivision that, in fairness, is the only subdivision you currently have up and running, and obviously
no, that's negative.
That's running properly, I should say, in terms of
That's still a negative.
What's the other unit that's up and running?
The bike training is up and running and ready and available. It's just finding people that are actually interested in taking it. And the crash investigation, I have spoke to the people from the government, and the fragment thing does work. There was possibly a slight issue that may have been ironed out now.
Again, so my point stays valid in terms of it's the only unit that you've currently got up and running and currently in operation. The bike unit, as you say, is there ready to train, but it's been ready for weeks, and we've not had anyone that's conducted the training or gone forward, or you've not put anyone in charge of that. And again, obviously the crash investigation, we've not got the potential any training. Now we've got the fragments, we can start getting that into tuition. But that's been obviously available from the start, and we've not had that up and running. So if you were to remove someone that's currently actively bringing up that subdivision, all you're going to do is set yourself back and cause even more delay on that unit. And obviously at the moment, as I say, if you're losing people all the time, why is it we're losing people from traffic into armed? Is it because all they do is chase around pings all day, or is it because there isn't any actual benefit of being in traffic because all these other divisions aren't, or subdivisions aren't up and running? So that's why I would recommend going down the disciplinary route, procedures. We need to get this bike up and running. Obviously now we can get this traffic collision up and running. The TVRU, as I say, I went out last night. I would recommend to go and experience it if you haven't already.
I have.
Yes, okay, perfect. Have you checked out some of the MDTs that they were showing me last night, etc.? And some of the...
because the issue I have with Mr. Law and Mr. Vaughan is they separate themselves entirely from the unit. I wasn't even aware Mr. Vaughan was trained in TVIU. I wasn't made aware that the TVIU was up and ready in operation. I was sent an email with a bit of information on it, but no actual communication from Law to say that that's it up and ready, boss. It's ready to go. Let's roll it out.
Okay, and what? So obviously, lack of communication from Law. Did you keep in contact with him and do a check to see if?
I attempt to check with him when he's in city. I had to ask twice for him to attend the RPU base the other night to do the checkpoint.
Yep.
He was active on radio speaking when I called for all traffic officers to come to RPU, and then when I called the second time for him specifically, he said, "Oh, I didn't realise you meant me." I asked for all of RPU.
Mm-hmm. Again, this is more me asking all these questions to get them out, to try and obviously, because as we know, he's one of these people that will ask all these stupid questions that we need to make sure we get ourselves familiar and we're on the same page, because ultimately, I'm not having anyone disrespect a higher up and refuse to do something. That's 100% not happening. But we also need to obviously work out a correct procedure if it has been followed. If it hasn't been followed, then we better get him in. Firstly, apologise that the procedure hasn't been followed, and obviously correct that to make sure he does get his written warning, and to obviously proceed further where we go from here. Is that the best procedure that you that you feel?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So moving forward then, before obviously he does come in and we call him in, regards to his disciplinary, we're obviously going for a level 2 disciplinary due to failure to listen and comply. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay, so even if it's not necessarily the headed, I'll try and get the headed up for you, and then obviously you can use that. But even if it's a simple email to him with a fairly well written explanation and a documented, you've then got it documented, and you can take a picture of that and put it into the log so everyone's aware of it. It has been authorized. So then if he asks again in future, I wasn't given this, you've got the proof of it. Moving forward, with regards to your unit, are we just sticking with a level 2?
Sorry, what do you mean?
As in, obviously, you were talking about this removal of the TVRU, etc.
I mean, to be honest, I don't see it should be used every day anyway. I think if it's used constantly and every single day, then it then becomes, after a week or so, it becomes useless. I think it's best if it's kept every so often, so that it's pulled out and it's used, and then it's actually effective.
So I would recommend, I've put this procedure in with Armed. They have obviously their subdivisions that they go and have a look at. They've got their normal dispatch calls to try and help everyone else, and then anyone outside of this minimum shift, then they can go and do covert operations or go and look for gang operations and stuff like that. I would recommend setting a minimum bar of, let's say, 3 traffic officers. Anything after 3, then you can start introducing your subdivisions. Just like today, for instance, if you've only got on shift at lunchtime, you've got 5 officers on shift, and you've only got 2 or 3 vehicles out, then to have an unmarked vehicle doing some covert operations is maybe not necessarily the ideal thing, because you're going to be undermanned to do the actual normal dispatch calls. If you have 3 officers on at a time or more, then maybe you can introduce that type of subdivision.
Yep. I think 3's kind of a bit low, if I'm honest, because obviously there's a few occasions now where we've had multiple chases going on at the one time, and 3 traffic officers spread across the 2 chases is quite thin.
How many have you got in your unit?
I think we're at 7 or 8 at the moment.
7 or 8. So you're only ever going to really have realistically 3 or 4 on average.
Yeah, this is temporarily, obviously, the big influx in response at the minute. We're hoping will overspill into us as soon as people start getting through the PC tests and themselves within the response unit.
So one thing I did recommend to response, and I said, look, although you need to concentrate on your recruitment, which is right, you need to be actively trying to push your subdivisions to keep it interesting. We don't want people coming into the police force and going, response is boring, I'm going traffic or I'm going to thing. What you guys also want to do is utilize your division and make it as interesting as possible. If you've not got enough officers on duty at a time and you want to introduce more people, what's the best way of doing that? The best way is enticing people and showcasing everything that you can do in traffic. So I would recommend, although it may be limited numbers, I would recommend keeping it to a 3 potentially, so that you can try and have your subdivision. Even when the bike unit becomes available, get the bike units out as well. And yes, you'll be short-staffed to begin with. However, the more people start seeing all these cool little divisions and within traffic, the quicker people go, I want to do traffic. I want to come over because I want to see the bike unit is constantly out doing different stuff, really cool different situations, or the TVRU, etc., or the normal pursuits. You want to try and make it as interesting as possible as quickly as you can for more and more people coming on. We've got another 5 people being introduced on Saturday or Sunday, and again, get your officers bringing students out as well, enticing them in. Best way that you can get more officers as quick as you can.
No, 100%. I just don't want to see... It's the uniqueness of TVIU with the unmarked ability. I feel if it's abused too much and overused, then it becomes irrelevant and it becomes just one of those boring shifts. So you go out in an unmarked car, but everyone still recognises what you're doing and you're still just chasing pings in it.
That's why you've got a good ability to drop back into normal traffic duties as well. And, they have the ability, and you all should be able to be trained to be able to be specialist unit to swap and match. When the bike comes available, get everyone in traffic trained on the bike, get everyone in the road traffic collision. So you've got 3 or 4 different things. At the moment, you've only got 2 really in traffic that you can rotate people around. As I said, with response have got like 8 or 9 different subdivisions. Get utilising them, get people active, and get people moving around the different divisions. then they won't have to just sit on TVRU all the time. They still have the ability to go across the bike or traffic as a normal pursuit throughout. You won't start seeing a lot of TVRU if you start bringing in your bike and your road traffic, because people will go, and actually, you know what, tonight I'm going to do a bit of this, and then maybe later I'll go and do a TVRU as well.
Yeah, no, 100%. At the minute, that all falls down to activity, not just activity, but numbers.
Numbers, but you've got 8 officers. Obviously you've promoted and pushed Law into a sergeant, and obviously you've asked him to head up the TVRU unit. Fine, that's off your shoulders. You're allowing him to set up, and obviously he's doing what he's doing on there, but he needs to obviously rein his attitude in firstly. That's something we're going to talk about. But you've got 6 other officers or 7 other officers. Get someone else set up on the bike. Even if you want to take a punt on them, for instance, just coming up, you want a chance to prove yourself. Go give me a bike division. Get them doing something that they're actually going to work towards. It shouldn't always fall on your shoulders, because obviously I'm looking at you at the moment thinking, well, where's traffic? Where's it at? Utilize everyone in there and just push people to do different things, and then obviously eventually it will pay dividends for yourself.
I think, yeah, no, I completely agree with you, but obviously it's hard to push people as well when as traffic at the minute. Most 999 calls that are coming through are vehicle related.
I understand that. How many? Oh, sorry, go on.
Oh, sorry. No, you go.
How many sergeants have you got?
2.
How many inspectors have you got?
2.
Okay, so you've got 4 people, and you've got, out of them 4 people, other than obviously Law, who's currently setting up TVRU, the other 3, what are they doing?
Oliver Closeoff, he wrote up the training and is running the crash investigation unit.
Okay, so there we go. That unit should be ready soon, should it?
Tim, it's already fully up and operational. It's just no one's been available to be trained or put their interest forward for it.
Okay.
Tim, at the moment, is just new to sergeant. I'm actually going to hope to just leave him at the moment anyway as just a shift sergeant and just that.
Okay.
I believe he's got the kind of qualities to talk to people and kind of encourage people into doing better.
Yep.
And plus, obviously, if he's taking students out and things like that, and they see what he does as well on his own without any push, obviously that will encourage some of the newer officers to maybe push themselves a little bit further as well. And Matthew Johnson is going to be taking over the bike because it was previously run by Ashley Hope, who's obviously, as we know, left PD.
Fine. So you've got people in them positions to push them.
Yep.
Get pushing them. You at the moment, like you say, we've got response in, we've got armed in, we've got you guys pushing some of the obviously the traffic training and stuff like that. You guys, as well as Tim, running the normal day-to-day business for now. Push them and say, look, I do not want you being active until that division is up and running. Once it's up and running, I'm getting everyone in the unit trained in bike, and I'm getting everyone trained in traffic collision. Because you guys as traffic should be able to have all of the training, all the different subdivisions. Same as response. They have their subdivisions. Everyone should be able to rotate around. Same as armed. Get it up and running. Get it to a point where you just go, right, tonight we're doing traffic training. We're going to start with bike unit training, then TVRU, and then we're going to train on the collision. Once everyone's trained up, start banging it home and getting people out, getting the students in with you and showcasing what you're capable of.
Yep, I mean, I'm still trying to organise a night where we can get everyone in at once, so we can do some actual RPU training as well, the basics.
Yep.
Because obviously everyone's done the level 3, but I'd like to do some refreshers and some more advanced.
Paddy coming in with a heartbeat and a bracelets. Thank you so much, Matt. I see you. Thank you so much, everyone.
You genuinely need numbers to do.
No, of course, but I know you're in most evenings and most days anyway. So you're able to, even if you can't get everyone at one night, then obviously if you want to take people off, do different things. So you get a range of different people. But I know it is really hard to get people in on certain nights, stuff like that. But do the best you can, and we'll be able to continue.
Yeah, no, 100%. That's
perfect.
Fine.
Right, let me get Law down here. See if he can come down.
Hello,
Mr. Law.
Hi, pal. You alright?
Yeah, good. Would you be able to come to the police station, please, for a meeting?
Yeah. Who's in the meeting?
It'll be myself, Mr. Wilson, and Yeteli.
All right, okay. Yeah, no worries. I'll make my way down. I'll get me Fed rep as well.
Copy that. See you soon.
All right. See you in a bit.
Right, he's on his way down. Something about he's bringing a Fed rep.
All right, okay. Didn't know we had any.
Yeah, I don't know. Unless he's... Well, what was it last time? Someone tried to get a lawyer down, didn't they, with their Fed rep, I guess. But I don't know if someone's decided to be a Fed rep or what. I have no idea.
The lawyer's semi-qualified, wasn't it?
Say again, sorry?
I'm just saying at least the lawyer's semi-qualified for a Fed rep.
Yeah, because they've obviously opened their borders now up, haven't they? So they can do both sides. So I guess maybe he's gone to them. Well, we'll find out in a minute. But yeah, I think obviously first things first, we need to obviously admit the procedure. We need to get that written document in. We also need to...
Sorry, while I've been speaking, I've just been thinking one up in my mind. If I could just send that over to you for approval.
Yeah, go on. Kai's coming in with a manifesting as well. Let's go, Kai. Thank you so much. How are we doing, guys? I'm sorry that we've been in meetings so far. I will be going out later and doing some cool police work. But this is quite a situation that we've got going on. So we need to make sure, obviously, we're up and running with it.
That should have reached the emails.
This letter serves as a formal written warning regarding your recent conduct within P9 Police Force. It has come to our attention that you stated a pattern of behaviour that is not in line with the expectation standards, a failure to follow orders, and you're displayed. It is, as a member of the police force, it is imperative that you adhere to issues by superiors. However, on multiple occasions, you have failed to comply with the orders given to by your superiors. This disregard for authority and denies events is not up to be like this. We expect. Yeah, just make sure it's a level 2. So he's aware what levels he's on.
Yeah.
And obviously make him aware if he does it again, level 3 means obviously he's obviously got to be taken further, blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
Cool, that's that. Let me go on to Canva and go to my design.
I did check the senior officers' emails, by the way, and there's only a pin thing for JJ's.
Page is unlocked. Unlock to continue. How? Lock cannot be edited. I've edited. What am I seeing? Who's locked it then? Oh, there we go. There's a lock button right at the top, chat. There's a lock button right at the top. Right, share. I should have sent you the template now.
Yep, got that. Thank you very much.
Cool. There we go. There we go. Oh, it's firstly work this, isn't it?
I've heard you love a good office meeting.
Oh, fucking hell, do I love a good office meeting. This chair's got my arseholes, like, proper moulded into it. How are we all doing? Emma, Joel coming in with the first rose as well. Let's go. Joel, how are we doing, my man? Good to see you. Good to see you. And you need to get my WhatsApps. Evening, buddy. Good to see you. It's all good, Deggy. You don't really get to see this side, do you? Yeah, sometimes, Alan. A lot of people do like this type of roleplay because they don't necessarily see what actually goes on in the police force. All they see is a police force running out in the day-to-day. Not always the best. Sometimes really good, and they need to know what levels that we try go to make it as good as possible. So that's kind of what we're doing here. I am the boss of police, yes. So literally, everyone that you see in the police force comes under me. It is my problem if they fuck up, essentially. Yo, Kai's coming in. Happy Friday. Emma Lou's coming in the heart me. Good evening. Thank you so much. How are we doing, guys? I appreciate that. We are number level 32 in the weeklies. 32, 115 diamonds off 31. What is going on? What is going on? We are flying. We are flying up them rankings. Thank you so much, guys. We started on 34 and we're up to 31 already. Jesus Christ. Thank you, guys. Everything is RP. Sometimes you are traffic stops, shootouts. Yeah, 100%. This is all part of the GC1 life story that you guys are watching. And it's all good fun, you know, because ultimately it's roleplay. We're characters. So yes, someone might be an idiot in character, but you completely take it outside of character, and it's just a person at the end of the day. It's a person playing a character, and you don't take anything out of character. It all stays in the city. And for me anyway, you know, a lot of people can't like change from character to actual person. They think that the person me playing is the person they're talking to, which, let's face it, you kind of are because it's a game, but it's not. It's a character. I could play an absolute idiot of a character. Like Callum Law, for instance, as a prime example. Callum Law in City is a pain in the arse. He's an absolute wanker. Excuse my French, but he's a wanker in City. However, you get to play games with him, you get to see him on the outside, and he's still no, he's not on the outside. He's genuinely quite a nice person to play other games with and just chill around, and you can have a good laugh with him. But in City, because everyone thinks he's a wanker outside the city, they think he's a wanker as well, and he's not, genuinely. And I can say that about anyone. It's the same thing. So like, people need to realize it's just roleplay. It's just roleplay. I have my or have my disputes with people. Come out of the city, I'm not asked. Honestly, I switch the game off and go elsewhere. There could be times where people take it out of the city, and I have to obviously moan about it or deal with it. But it's all from a character perspective, that this person is doing this in the city, etc. I have to take it out of the city to deal with it. But ultimately, in city is in city at the end of the day. Other than that, how are you guys?
Not too bad. Feel like cold and feeling like crap. But
yeah, me too. I'd strongly recommend, do you have a blocked nose?
Actually, thankfully, no. It's just been my throat that I've been affected with this time.
I struggle massively with my sinuses, and the only thing that I seem to work is that Sudafed nose spray, the red one.
Alright, okay.
Yeah, I'd strongly recommend literally a one spray in each, and within about 5 minutes, no blocked nose, no nothing. Absolutely fine.
I'll need to remember that for the next time I get one.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, Teddy, how are you?
Yeah, not bad. Just getting on with things as normal.
Good. How you finding your boss?
Part of this to obviously know what the crack is for if I have to deal with those.
Yeah, absolutely. How you finding your boss?
Pretty good.
Have I thrown you in the spotlight now? He's with you. He'll give
myself and you tell have worked together before back in Manchester.
Oh, okay.
Actually, my boss there.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So we can have a good understanding with each other. We know how each other operates. That's why.
My nose is blocked. Give it 5 minutes, and it'll be absolutely fine.
Although I hold the rank of superintendent, I see us both as the ones running the unit, and I think that's the way it should always be.
Yeah. 2 minds are better than one.
Exactly.
Yeah, especially when you put two together. So always come up with something decent.
Absolutely. You can bounce off each other then as well, can't you? And if you think you made a wrong decision or whatever, you can.
Ridiculously similar. So
yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those.
Good.
To the point with the new emergency light system, we can actually turn each other's lights and sirens off, on and off for each other. So that's how well we work together.
Oh wow. Actually, I was saying that. I think I was. So I think I need to touch the ceiling in order to get out the car sometimes. Put my hands up. and I think every time I do that, I end up pushing the siren or the horn. So yeah, I'm very much it's weird, isn't it? Because normally when you're in the passenger seat, you can't do anything, but if you turn the lights off, that's pretty cool. London UK roleplay. Good evening. How are we doing? Thank you so much for the brand new tier 1.
Anyone we've got in custody decides to start playing with our lights, but
yeah, absolutely. Well, I suppose it's a good thing. Then you won't be getting out and forgetting them. Someone else can turn them off for you, I guess.
Yeah.
Right, they are here. Should we go and sit over here so we got more? Hey! Yo, Grumpy Butt coming in with a tier 1 as well. Thank you so much. Kai coming in with the confettis as well. I see you. Thank you. And Bethany coming in the nose. Good evening. How are we doing?
Doing well, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, good stuff. Feel free to take a seat.
Nope. Don't know why I'm walking over here.
You okay?
Yeah, I can't sit down for some reason. Oh.
I was going to say. Kai, with all the confettis. Let's go, Kai. Thank you so much, buddy.
There we go.
Let's go. Drama alert. Here we go. Welcome in. Obviously, you've just had a meeting with your head of unit to discuss exactly what's happened today. Now, I've got that side of you. I would like to obviously open the floor firstly to yourself to discuss exactly your point of view before obviously I make any formal statements or opinions around what's happened. So if I could ask yourself firstly, but before I do, obviously I want to welcome you here, and I believe there's that Mr. Bud, I see.
Yes, I'm here on behalf of Mr. Law.
Amazing. If you don't mind talking up slightly.
Oh yes, can do.
There we go, that's much better. Can I obviously offer you any food or water, and anyone before obviously we go, we'd hate for any unfortunate situations to happen.
Nope, I'm all good.
I'm okay.
You're all okay, fantastic.
Yeah.
Cool. Mr. Law, obviously we are in quite a formal situation at this moment in time. We've got your representative here. Would you be happy if I was to have my body cam on so that it's all fully recorded?
Yes, please.
Okay, no problem. So I am obviously running my body cam. It is live. So obviously anything we say here, just obviously keep ourselves noted that it is live, okay? So obviously I'm going to now pass it over to yourself to give your side of events before obviously we make any formal discussion or opinion from the police point of view.
The first thing I just want to clarify is what level of misconduct I'm facing. Obviously I was told that this would have been my first one, so I'm assuming it's going to be a level 1. But then obviously Willie has wanted to speak to yourself, which would be a 3 or above. So just want to clarify that first.
So I seek advice from GC1. Your level of disciplinary today is going to be level 2.
Okay, can I just ask for the reasoning that we have missed a level 1, please?
For the severity of the matter. The misconduct of refusing to adhere to an order from a senior officer.
Okay, is that okay for you, boss? Is that all in cooperation that we're allowed to skip a level 4, just an offence of that nature?
So as clearly stated to everyone in the disciplinary records, that obviously if an officer of sergeant and above feels that a discipline is needed, they may go to the relevant level that they feel necessary. Now, as I say, I don't want to comment too much further on this moment in time based on your side of events, but from what I've gathered and from the explanations that's had, the relevant level that has just been explained has been agreed on both parties at this moment in time. But as I say, the opinions I would like to obviously find out. Oh, sorry, I was struggling to hear you then. Go on.
Has this been agreed on both parties or one party?
As just been discussed, I needed to find out the level that was going for, and obviously the level he said is level 2. And as I've just stated a minute ago, that obviously I want to find out Mr. Law's point of view as well, in order to go from there. But at this moment in time, as stated by my traffic officer, we're here for a level 2 meeting.
That's fine. Have I got any documentation that can be sent over to myself, so just go and have a look and see what's been said. Mr. Wilson said that.
I can send that just now.
Okay, brilliant. Is it to read that and have it a glance over? Is that all right?
Yeah, absolutely. He should be able to send that over to you now. And apologies that it wasn't sent earlier.
No, it's fine. People make mistakes.
There we go. How we doing, guys? Dougie, welcome in. How we doing?
You should have received that to your work email address.
Dougie, how we doing? Good
Brilliant.
to see you, my man.
Do you mind if I read it out?
Go for it.
Absolutely.
Let me just get this out. Dear Sergeant Lord, this letter serves as a formal written warning regarding your recent conduct within the P9 police force. It has come to our attention that you have demonstrated a pattern of behaviour that is not in line with our expectations and standards of our organisation. Specifically, your failure to follow orders and your disciplined attitude have raised serious concerns among your superiors. As a member of the P9 police force, it is imperative that you adhere to directives issued by your superiors. However, on multiple occasions, you have failed to comply with orders given to you by your commanding officers. Okay. This disregard for authority undermines the chain of command and compromises the effectiveness of our operations. It is essential that you understand the seriousness of the outlined in this letter. Failure to address these concerns and demonstrate immediate improvement of your conduct will result in a further
Someone say popcorn,
reaction,
absolutely.
up and including determination of your employment with P9 Police Force. We expect you to take warning seriously and make the necessary changes to rectify your behaviour. If you require assistance or support in addressing any underlying issues contributing to your conduct, please do not hesitate to reach out to your superiors or the appropriate resources within our organisation. Please acknowledge the receipt of this written warning by signing and returning your enclosed copy within 5 working days. Your signature does not necessarily indicate agreement with the contents of this letter, but acknowledges that you've received it sincerely. I'm just going to ask a few questions. It's sent here about multiple occasions. Please, can you give me some more information regarding that, please?
The multiple occasions that I asked you today to put away your unmarked vehicle.
So multiple being today and today only?
Yes.
And then they demonstrated the pattern of the behaviour today and today only?
No, there's been numerous occasions which haven't been necessarily to the extent of disciplinary action, but have now accumulated to this point.
Okay, can I ask what those being, please?
Do you remember back when Joel Jackson done your level 3 driver training?
Yes, I remember it well.
You were removed from the unit and put back to response because of your attitude in the run up to that?
Wasn't referred to the attitude. I said that I'm not going to be waiting a week for my training, and Joel Jackson said, fine, you can return to the response. And I said, I will, that's absolutely fine. It wasn't to do my attitude. Granted, on the day, I was quite frustrated with Joel Jackson, but I have also got body cam of that confirms my actions were in line with what I vented to yourself about waiting a week, which in turn you clarified that it was not waiting a week, which was told to myself, but it was a week for your confirmation of the actual training that you're doing. That's the conversation that we had, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so it wasn't my attitude, it was my misunderstanding.
Well, that's not the feedback that was given by Mr. Jackson.
Oh, okay. That's fine. But other than that, that is the only issues that have been raised to yourself about my conduct.
There was also a comment made to a student officer on Wednesday night when we were running our checkpoint about how that was a waste of taxpayers' money.
All right, okay. Can you just clarify what I said there?
That was the comment about the waste of taxpayers' money and that you wouldn't be around for it very long.
Okay, did they provide you body cam of that incident?
No, they didn't. That's why it wasn't brought up and no disciplinary action came from it. But again, these are an accumulation.
Did you attempt to speak to me about my conduct on that day?
No, because you were state 11.
Do you like to ask me about it now, why I went state 11?
I was made aware that your state 11 was not your choice.
Yes, so when I was down in there, the training was mush in my eyes. I couldn't see anything. And I said to the officer, because I was walking in a wall, he said, what are you doing? And I went, I can't see anything. Me being here is a waste of your time, because I can't help. And then I raised it to you over radio, which then you removed cones as it was causing multiple head issues. So it wasn't me saying it's a waste of time. Me being here, not being able to do anything, was a waste of time. I think there was a miscommunication there, so I apologise.
Okay.
Callum's so good with his terminology, man.
Nope, that's as states.
This is what I said with the procedure.
Other than that, I'm happy with that. letter, and if that's what we're going for, that's what we're going for today. So yeah, I'll take that on board.
Regarding obviously today, can you talk me through exactly what has happened in order to get you into this position?
Yeah, so I came on shift. I can't remember the actual timings of it. I started my shift. I got into my uniform. I went out in my operational vehicle, being the Golf R, as part of the TVIU subdivision. I've started patrolling around. It was quite quiet. There was a few vehicle thefts, a few assaults. There was only a few officers on. There was the two Mexican fellows who were in armed response gear that were in an unmarked vehicle. I don't know if it was like a black RS6 or there's a black vehicle and a white vehicle. I don't know what they were. I've never seen them before. And then there was Bobby Griffiths was about, and there was another gentleman who were knocking about with them. So they were knocking about doing their own thing. I didn't question it. Didn't really. I just went out doing my bit. At some point, Mr. Wilson has got on shift with an officer. I don't know who. I think Slater, I believe. He was in an RS6. I say Slater, I assume. When I went back to the station after this whole thing, he was stood next to the RS6. I'm going to assume it was him. I don't know. There was a vehicle theft up at the top of the city, and I've attended. I was first on scene. I couldn't see the vehicle. I turned around and Mr. Wilson has said to me, Callum, can you please take the unmarked out? We've only got three units out, two of them being unmarked. I'm the only marked unit. Please, can you get it away? I've said this is a vehicle that's in my unit, so I'm gonna have to decline that. There was no reason given to me other than that there was other units in unmarked. That's not my problem. I'm not the highest on. That's for Mr. Wilson to tell them. That's not my problem. At that point, Mr. Wilson has then told me that he is my superior and that I should follow his orders and get out of the car, essentially. I've then just drove away from the situation. I didn't really want to. I just took my way away from it, really, even though it was over radio. I then started patrolling again. He's drove past me with his lights and sirens on Legion towards me, where I've turned left towards the garage, and he said, get out of the unmarked car. I've told you once along them lines. I've then said, boss, can I have a word with you at the station to speak about what's happened? Because again, I haven't been told any reason legitimately why I need to get out of this unmarked car other than other units are in one, which isn't, again, my problem. As I've arrived, he's been speaking to one of the Mexican fellas. I've asked him where I should go, and he said he's just speaking to someone, and he'll speak to me soon. And I've gone up waiting for him, and then we've had the meeting. He's been getting a little bit irate, didn't want to listen to me about what my reasonings for why I was in the car, just told me that I'm being suspended and that he'll need to speak regarding it. Got no paperwork, got no aftercare, told that I'm being suspended for 24 hours till he speaks to yourself. And that's basically it. I did have my body cam live uploading,
right?
But I think there's been some kind of error with that. I don't know how to retrieve it with that. Usually I have a back one that does it, but I don't know why it's not. Maybe it's the wrong day to try and live upload it, if I'm perfectly honest. But I'm sure there would be officers on radio that potentially live uploading that could provide the radio communications that happened, so you can verify what happened. But that's essentially it.
Okay, so got a couple of questions to go around, obviously, the statements that you've been saying. So when you got back to the station, and obviously you had this meeting, firstly, I'm just going to go backwards, so to speak. So you're in the office having the meeting and trying to establish why you were told to get out of unmarked. Did you, again, at any point in that meeting, refuse to, obviously, to follow the orders given?
No, I never refused. I just was a little bit argumentative with it because I didn't really. He just told me I'm being suspended.
Right.
It was because I've been unmarked. Once he told me that I'm being suspended and he'll speak to yourself, I've got undressed, deposited all my work stuff in my personal locker and left. And I've gone just the streets kicking some stones and stuff.
Right. Okay. So, as a sergeant of obviously a division, as sergeant of traffic.
Yeah.
I believe that you've had the task to set up a subdivision. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So As we obviously established last night, you were out and about in the subdivision, which was great, and obviously there was having use of numbers on, etc. Now, a subdivision comes under your subdivision. What unit does it come under?
It's coming under the traffic umbrella just because it's using high performance vehicles.
Okay, and who's head of the traffic division?
Mr. Wilson, with Sinfields above him as district commander.
Okay, so would you agree to say then that the division or your subdivision solely is responsible by Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
You would. Okay, cool. So obviously, if you make any decisions within your division, you would need to either get approval, or if you've already been told by Mr. Wilson that you can crack on, you do what you want to do, set it up how you want, don't need to come to me for approval. There's two options there. If he says come to me, you'd need to go and get approval from him, or if he said go do what you want, then you go do what you want. Is that correct to say?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So at any point, being the head of a unit, Mr. Wilson can give a command for officers to deal with. Is that correct?
Yes, he can, yeah.
Okay, cool. So obviously at the time of the situation, Mr. Wilson felt that he didn't have enough units on the ground, and that the subdivision needed to be put onto a pause in order to get some more units out in the force. Is that what he did? Is that what his request was?
Yeah, he requested that more marked units, but again, only went to me when there was auditors knocking around, which clarify for me, they hold the rank of a police constable. They're not in any kind of division. So if it's, I just want to clarify for my own knowledge, because I'm aware that they are a PC, but I could be wrong in that, and I just want to clarify what their actual rank is.
Auditors are police constables, but they do hold an element of responsibility of their own, and they have the ability to do certain things that other people may not be able to do, but they still obviously follow the chain of command and the procedures, etc.
So, just
Can
to my
I
own
just clarify something so we don't waste too much time on this?
Yeah, of course.
I did on my way back to the station. I did see the two auditors, and as you could say, I was speaking to one of them in the car park, and I was speaking to him about the unmarked vehicles. And to which point, after I went into the building, which you were already inside, as I was going in, I did notice that they followed my advice, and they did jump into marked vehicles and left the station, and I believe it was an IRU RS6.
So was that...
You were not the only person spoken to, they were spoken to, and they did follow the orders.
Was that before or after you asked me on radio?
I believe they went straight back to PD as soon as they heard the conversation on radio, from what I was told by, I believe it was Mateo Gonzalez.
And with that, you didn't ask them first, you asked me first.
You are my unit and my responsibility. They were in armed uniforms, therefore, even though they are auditors, they fall under armed responsibility because they carry firearms.
Okay.
I look after my unit first before anyone else's.
Okay.
I think that's probably a fair thing to say.
Yeah.
So we've identified that obviously we've not got enough units on the force. So the head of unit has said, look, put it away and put it in. If you felt at any point that it was not the right move or the right understanding, why did you feel that you needed to reject it at that time rather than go, okay, my boss has told me what to do. I don't like it, but what I'm going to do instead is exactly what you did on the third occasion, where asked to have a meeting to clarify exactly what it is. Why did you feel it was necessary to reject and to tell him that it was, not his problem, not your problem?
Firstly, Mr. Wilson has been told on several occasions about the unit that I was the subdivision. He should know.
Yeah, Martin with a 22 months. Let's go. Thank you so much, Martin.
Drives unmarked vehicles.
Yep.
And I was under the assumption that he has read them and understands the full knowledge, the full legitimacy of the unit. So for him to ask me directly to come out of it is asking for one of his subdivisions to be closed and shut down just to help his traffic marked operational vehicles to be done, when, to my understanding, there is no other subdivisions out. I mean, to be fair to him, he has got the bikes and he has got the crash ones, but never seen the bikes and I've never seen the crash ones. So for me, I'm the only subdivision that has been successfully.
Shane coming in with a 5 months legend. Let's go, Shane. Thank you.
So on the basis of the proactive.
Thank you, buddy. Welcome in.
I rejected it just on that purely until I got a reasonable justification, which I didn't get. I just got shouted on radio, told to put the car away. So that's why I refused it. But then after it got a bit tensions and he raised his voice again the second time, I thought it's just going to end up in a shouting match. So I decided for a meeting.
So as an officer of the law and ultimately a colleague to everyone else, do you not feel a reasonable explanation of we only have 3 police cars on at this time with quite a populated city? We would like to have some more marked units to help do marked patrols rather than the subdivision covert operation. Do you not feel that was an acceptable excuse in order to get you out of an unmarked vehicle and put back onto your traffic duties for the time being?
For the population that it was, when I did check, I remember it being a mid-30s as the population count. To have 7 officers and to have 3 vehicles and 3 of them riding around in the same car, no, I didn't. But I was still conducting my traffic duties. I was still going to the things that were necessary. I was still pulling cars. I was still giving fines. And I was just doing it in a covert vehicle. And I've never once ever, and I'll say it to you, when you asked me about the covert vehicle, I never said that I wanted it to be underkept and I don't want people knowing it is, because when you asked me that question, I said no. I want them to fear the Golf. When they see it, they're either going to think, shit, it's the Golf. I know that the police are on that, and they're going to be on my ass like whatever. But the also flip side is that if I'm parked up somewhere and they go past 100 miles per hour, they are either going to think, shit, is that a Golf? Or shit, is that a normal person? And by that point, I've already probably clocked them on the NPR camera and the speedometer, so they're already done in my eyes. So for me, no, the reason that he gave was unjust, which is why I challenged it, which, as part of the Code of Ethics, on the leadership tab, if you go into there, it does say that leaders can be challenged if the justification is met, and they should embrace challenge by officers because it proves them as a leader.
Now, there's a couple of things that has been raised to obviously combat this happening again. One of the situations now, obviously, yes, you can raise concerns to your leader if you don't feel that they are necessarily correct. But from my understanding, most of them concerns that you raise is to do with either the health and safety or the well-being of yourself. Now, both of them, I do not feel in this environment or this situation was going to impact life or your safety by being in what you were. So him asking you a direct order to do that type of thing was not going to interfere or harm your safety. So I don't feel necessarily a justification other than we haven't got enough marked units on, please come and join us, is a wrongful justification in order for you to obviously comply with his orders. Now, obviously, in order for us to move forward on this, because I know obviously we don't want to go around the houses, there's something that we have discussed and something that will be coming in, firstly. Now, subdivision, as I said last night, I enjoyed everything that you've got doing with it, and I want to see subdivisions a lot more, and I want to see all of the divisions being used. Now, what we do need to have is something that I put in armed. We need a minimum shift first before we can have a subdivision out. Now, what that means is it could, depending on the amount of units we've got in the force at the time and the amount of active officers on duty, there's a potential chance that we need to have a minimum of 3 officers on in a division before we can then bring out a subdivision, stuff like that. I don't want to see 5 or 6 officers in the police force trying to actively pursue dispatch calls, and then we have a couple of other officers doing some covert operations or whatever like that if we haven't got the available units. Because I know for certain situations like Evangelico or whatever, we need an X amount of units. And if we don't have that minimum unit, then obviously it would be unjustified to bring out a subdivision that isn't going to benefit the police force in that given time. So that's one of the things that we've spoken about that will be brought in as a procedure, so we're clear of it. So for instance, if the likelihood of today happens again, where you've been asked to go out of your TVRU and back into normal traffic. There'll be a justification of, we've only got 2 officers on at this moment in time. The procedure states 3, so until we have a 3rd unit on, could you please come back into the unit? Or the other aspect of, we only need X amount of unmarked on at a time, or X amount of X, Y, and Z. So there's a few things that obviously we're going to try and bring in just to make it black and white in order for us to all understand and follow. As we say, there's procedures for everything and we need to make sure we follow them. Secondly, now you've only just received your letter. So obviously want to firstly apologise for that it's come later. Normally, as we know, with a level 1, 2 or 3, at the time of your level, you get told in disciplinary what level you are facing and how to proceed. Now, Mr. Wilson at the time was unaware of the correct level to provide based on what it is, and obviously I want to apologise for that. And now we are aware of what it is moving forward. You have got your written warning now regarding it.
Yeah.
Moving forward again.
So with that 3 officers on, you are aware that we only have 7 actual officers in traffic. So you're expecting just below 50% of traffic on for me to fulfill my duties as a subdivision. You may as well just scrap the subdivision then and just be like, right, we don't have it, we don't need it, because we haven't got the numbers. The numbers aren't coming over. So
that's a temporary issue.
I said, it's an example number.
All right.
Not a
how are we going
confirmed.
to get that number then? Because you wanted a subdivision.
Swifty's coming in with the 8 months. Let's go. Bash. And Beth's coming in with the baby shark. Thank you so much.
What is the reason that you don't want the unmarked car in out of what is it? What is the actual
as I said, the example number is 3, as I've just given as an example. However, depending on obviously when we come down to do the full procedure and we have a proper meeting about it, that number may fluctuate up or down depending on what we feel is necessary. However, again, in an example like today, I believe from the explanation that's been given, if we've got 6 or 7...
For it. I apologise, I take responsibility for it. I'm sorry.
Ultimately...
we're going around the houses, I'll hold my hands up. I apologise for just doing the order. I'm sorry for that.
We need to respect our higher-ups, and obviously we've now documented that this is the first occasion that has been recorded that you have failed to do that. So obviously we need to respect the chain of command, and obviously hopefully this meeting here has helped that, and we won't obviously have you back in here again, and we'll learn from our mistakes.
Okay.
Fantastic. Obviously, before we go any more, I'm going to go around the room and obviously just ask if anyone's got any further questions or anything that they'd like to bring up. And I'll go from my left, Mr. Wilson.
No, I'm perfectly happy with that. I accept the apology. The only thing I will say is the lack of numbers within the unit itself is temporary issue.
Kai coming in with the donuts. Let's go. ADHD Simbo's coming in. Let's go, guys. Thank you so much.
We have to ensure that they are first, and we just have to deal with what we've got at the moment to ensure that response is there. And then once the overspill from response starts pouring out into the other units, that's when we'll start benefiting from that.
Okay.
Italy?
Hey! More between you two, but obviously it's going to be here to obviously go through the stuff that can be fixed within the unit.
I mean, coming in with the 2 months. Let's go. And a hype train has started. Let's go, guys. Thank you so much.
I am. And I've got them on my notes.
Okay.
Just bear with me. Let me get my notes up. Okay, so on the 12th of January 2024, I conducted a speed trap with PC Von using my initiative as a traffic officer, targeting speeding vehicles. This was later stopped by Willie Wilson, asking for officers to be more active on 999 calls that was coming in. I just want to ask Willie Wilson, why would you ask me to do that?
Because if we are struggling for numbers and traffic are needed on these 999 calls, then we need to prioritise 999. 999 is an emergency.
Okay. On the 14th of the 1st, I was conducting an early shift, again with PC Von, doing a speed trap just above Legion, when again I was stopped by Willie Wilson, when
Give me what you got, all your money.
higher were all in an RS6.
James, thank you so much for the bits.
Needed more officers on a chase. For my opinion, if you needed more
just want to listen into this, guys. Just bear with me a minute for any more sound alerts if you don't mind.
Using more vehicles rather than partnering up. On the same day, I have then raised my concerns about Willie Wilson to Simfields about roughly 17:25 p.m. About Mr. Wilson's attitude towards myself and Ray. We're fearing that he is starting to dictate a little boys' club. I was noticing a pattern that Mr. Wilson was only driving around with his certain individuals that were a higher rank. He was driving around with sergeants and inspectors only, moving myself and PC Von to only conduct speed traps and keep our own way, distancing ourselves from the unit. This has led PC Von explaining to myself that he fears that he doesn't feel welcomed in the traffic unit and he wants to explore his options elsewhere. We've raised our concerns to Simfields, and he has told them no. I don't know if it ever reached you, your boss, but we also made some notes that the fact that we've never been given any training, we've never been given any progression, we've never been offered any kind of skills or which has also left us to be a little bit inadequate as our duties as a traffic officer. I just want to ask Mr. Wilson, have you planned any other training for myself in that time?
Myself and Utility have come up with many ideas to go through further training for the entire unit. However, at this moment in time, those training that we have in mind require decent numbers, and unfortunately we are having to take a step back in the process to allow response to grow their numbers first before we can improve our unit.
And with the training in regards to that, what about refresher training?
Again, we were hoping to do that in groups rather than just doing one at a time, because it takes myself and Utility away from jobs that we would rather be doing and would probably be more beneficial to this city to be doing. But
may I ask, Mr. Law, what training have you had since you've started traffic?
I have had my level 3 training, and I've been in. I'm going to go 2 months, but I don't know the exact time. I've only had my level 3. I've not been offered level 4. I believe that was raised to that it was only be inspectors or above for this stupid RS6 thing. Again, no. Never been offered it. Never been offered any other training. No refresher training. Nothing. So I don't know if that's for Mr. Wilson to clarify.
No, level 4 is for level. Level 4 is sergeant above. At the moment, that was planned to be its own subdivision. However, things have changed. Level 4 is offered instantly on your promotion. However, I believe the night you were promoted, you didn't have time to stay around.
And when I was promoted, that was on the 23rd of January, and I've still not been offered it.
Have you actually communicated with myself or any of your inspectors? Because it's not just me that does level 4 training.
Well, no disrespect intended, sir, but
have you seeked your level 4 driver training?
Your inspectors need to approach me, follow the chain of command that goes downwards, check on their officers. I wasn't asked or approached. I think there's only 2 sergeants. You're the boss, it runs in your division, you are the head.
So you don't have a voice and you can't go and speak to them and ask them for the training?
Well, it's hard to speak to them when they're in your car.
They're not always in my car.
Okay.
What's with his arm as well? Why is his arm like this?
I have got more points I would like to raise.
Continue if you want.
Yep. During my interview with Utelli and Mr. Wilson, I have openly spoken about TVIU to them both, and I've told both officers very clearly that the TVIU is a covert unit which drives unmarked vehicles and targets vehicle crimes, ATM robberies, burglaries, all kind of immediate response that they may need a covert unit to get the lay of the land first. In this interview, none of the 2 officers stood in front of me today raised any concerns about the unit. When asked about how I would improve the unit, since then, my ideas that I have put to Mr. Wilson have all come to fruition, which again, he is taking credit for. The interview is all recorded. I was wearing my full body equipment, and it just, again, it outlines his failings and attempts to make himself look proactive, even though he is not. Any response?
So I honestly don't get what this has got to do with the hearing, but okay.
Well, this is a hearing where of misconduct. I'm allowed to be heard, and quite frankly, if you're going to raise some issues about myself, which I asked very clearly at the start of this interview that have come out. Well, I'm just going to raise mine on an open forum in front of, again, Mr. Roberts here. And in the meeting today, I made sure to tell you that I will be raising this higher. And unfortunately, this is as high as I could get, as Mr. Sinfield is not here. But I just want to ask that when the interview, did I or did I not tell you about TVIU?
Yes, you did. However, since that interview and since you
Yeah.
were promoted to sergeant, have you at any point communicated with me how far along you are with the stage of the unit, when you planned on rolling the unit out, for my authorization in rolling the unit out, other than a document that you sent to me via email, which is no form of communication at all, that's just passing something over.
Okay, yeah.
Not once have I actually given the go-ahead for this TVIU unit. You've put it out there active without it being signed off.
Right. Okay. Just to clarify, you have never told me to go ahead with the unit.
I told you to go ahead and start setting it up. Did I say go ahead and launch the unit?
Now I'm asking you, have you ever told me that you want me to get to launch the unit, yes or no?
No, I've never said launch the unit. No.
Okay, Mr. Roberts, I'm going to send you an email with a screenshot of a conversation between me and Mr. Willie Wilson, where I quote, I say, at 17:20 p.m. on the 28th of the 1st, 2024, I say, any chance I can have authority to start the subdivision to see if we can get more people joining traffic, as I've seen a few leave. Mr. Wilson responds with, yeah, if you want to get it started for that, go for it. Was planning on starting this with you in person, but I'm not going to use the term, but it needs to be done now since we've lost that many. That was sent to myself at 17:22 p.m. Did you say that, Mr. Wilson?
Yeah, if you want to get started on it.
So you told
Just
me to
clarify
start.
those words, get started on it.
So you've told me to start the unit.
My missus.
And where's this
I'm
message
gonna beat my missus up in a bit.
That was in the deployment. It's above my message where I've asked for any inspectors to authorise an unmarked operation on the 23rd, to which I received no reply to.
So
as
that
well.
wasn't within the city limits, no?
It's an email sent to your email address. It's the
Okay.
same email address. It's the same email address.
No, that's fine. You've
just-
clarified that. That's fine. That's okay.
Yeah, it's the same email address that you've sent me an email from today
Yep,
with my
okay.
written warning. Yeah. So you are aware of the unit. Is that correct?
I was aware that I gave you the go-ahead to start the unit, not to launch.
Yeah. And then I've also, at 17:24 p.m., the same day on the 28th of the 1st, I put a notice board out because you've given me the go-ahead, which would be a notice board that would entice people to join traffic as well. It has a thumbs up from an officer, and again, you've not questioned that or told me to take it down, which for me is implicating that you are happy for the unit to go ahead. Would you agree?
I mean, if that's enough for you to implicate that, then yes, that's your
I
prerogative.
mean, he's not wrong, is he? He's told him to put it up. Let me find where he's put it.
Scroll down.
Sorry, did you say you sent me anything there?
Sorry, what was that?
Sorry, did you say you sent me something there, or you were going to, but you haven't?
No, I've emailed it over to you.
Oh, you have?
Yeah, I've sent you a screenshot of that conversation between myself and Mr. Wilson.
Can any sergeants or inspectors authorise unmarked operation time wait into the spawn?
Okay.
Any chance can have authority
On
to start the
24th of the
subdivision to see if
1st,
we can get more people to join?
2024.
Yeah, if you want to get
you
started,
gave
go
me-
for it.
I
Was
think
planned
23rd
sorts
or
of in the city,
24th,
but lost. Oh, he
haven't
said
really
yes.
scrolled down the
I
exact
guess.
dates, but around that time, you gave me the rank of a sergeant. Is that correct?
Yep.
Yep. And during my feedback of that interview with Mr. Yatelli, you told me that it was the highest scoring, it was impeccable. Is that correct?
Yes, your interview was absolutely fantastic.
You told me that it was the best interview that you've ever received, and with that, you only offered me the rank of sergeant. And a caveat to myself getting sergeant was that I would run your subdivision, which would be in TVIU, which is the one that I pitched.
It has flipped on its head a bit, yeah.
Covert, unmarked unit. And again, after that, you told me to get started on it, no concerns raised. Is that correct?
Again, you use the word get started, but yes, that is correct.
Thing is, that's what I said. You need to make sure with law you're 100% correct,
Is there
otherwise he'll
anybody
just
else
fuck
that
you with the
you've put in a
procedures
position above myself as TVIU?
Yes.
and fine
And who is
detail.
that person?
Matty Johnson sees the bike and TVIU Oliver Closeoff oversees sorry, I've just had a head issue there. The crash investigation, and we're still looking for a fourth that he will also oversee as an inspector.
So when you told me that it was my unit to run, why did you not say it was Matty Johnson's unit to run?
Because Matty Johnson was not a member of traffic at that moment in time.
So you've put someone who wasn't a member of traffic into traffic to lead a division. Is that correct?
No, he wasn't brought in for that reason, no. Matty Johnson requested to transfer from response, not that this really is anyone's business other than Matty Johnson's.
Okay.
But he requested to come to traffic, to which point I knew Matty Johnson from working alongside him between the command structure within this police force, and I knew the skill set that he could bring to our unit. Therefore, when
DJ
bringing his
audits.
transfer over, I spoke to Sinfields and I clarified that it was possible to bring him over, still keeping his rank as inspector.
Yes, old school. We are getting out tonight.
Matty
Yes.
Johnson has received all training necessary for any level 4 driver within the unit, and then his skill sets as a leader and a commander set himself out differently from everyone else.
When did Matty Johnson get his level 4 training?
The day he transferred across.
What day
Because
was
he
that?
asked for it there and there. I'm not sure the specific day that he transferred.
Do you not think about asking me if I wanted mine?
Again, you have your own voice and you can communicate with other people. It's you that chooses not to communicate with anyone else in the unit.
But as I've clearly shown in that thing, I'm the one that's communicating, asking for operational, granted that you didn't reply
That
to.
is
With the greatest
emails that we
respect, you
try to
as
use as little as possible
a head, you have to offer
You do
people
see it and acknowledge
dates.
it, don't you?
You have to offer people dates to join or do things.
And as I've stated, I told you to start the unit, not launch it.
Wasn't the question. Do you acknowledge and see the message there in the deployments, in the emails?
Yes, again, I don't understand why we're using this in here, but yes.
I'm just clarifying that you've obviously just ignored it. That's all.
Just double check. Obviously, to put this one to bed, how many times has anyone in traffic, inspector or below that's qualified to train, how many times have they put out dates for people to join training sessions? Whether it's level 4, 3.
Training sessions aren't.
Zero, boss, is the answer.
Sorry, it was addressed to obviously the head of traffic rather than yourself. Obviously, I understand you're talking at the same time. I just wanted to clarify, Mr. Wilson.
So, as I've clarified, we don't have great numbers within traffic. Sessions aren't really something that we're doing at the moment. Once numbers pick up, that is something that is in the pipeline. At the moment in time, training is done as and when needed for the officers in question. Most officers, when they come to traffic, the first time, when can I get my training?
Mm-hmm.
That's the level 3 training. Every other sergeant or inspector upon promotion has asked, right, can I get my level 4 now?
And when was that given to them?
Usually straight away, unless there's been urgent issues that have had to be dealt with first.
Right, and what urgent issues have had to been dealt with to obviously prevent
state zeros, anyone having to go state 11 and not being having anyone available for training. We even had a case, I know he's now left the force, but Opie Johnson, the night he joined traffic, he had to go state 11 straight after his interview and his transfer, which was unfortunate, don't get me wrong, but that was a case where training was missed because he had to go state 11. He's obviously had his own issues
of course,
in head, which have stopped him coming back, and he never did gain his level 3. But these are issues that we have to work around, and communication is the key factor in all of it, which seems to be the lack when it comes to Mr. Law and the rest of the unit. Mr. Utelli, I don't know if you can confirm whether or not you've had him approach you looking for any training or bringing any of these concerns to you.
No, I haven't really heard anything of this. Pretty much.
I've not.
It, apart from the bits that have been mentioned by you, it's only been like one incident. But apart from that, no, not really.
So the aspect I've got is, do you know we have our weekly? Oh well, we're meant to have our weekly meetings, but we have meetings when we can, as obviously speak to you guys as higher ups. And I look to obviously make sure everything's okay in your units, etc. There has got to be a bit of a to and fro, and obviously you guys will need to be putting yourselves out there trying to get people in your unit and making sure all of your people in your unit are trained to the correct standard. And obviously if traffic are level 4 trained, then obviously they need to be level 4 trained, and it's obviously within your best interest to make sure all your units officers are trained as quickly as they can and to the highest standard possible. And obviously, I understand, like you say, with numbers, etc. But if we're able to do that with Mr. Johnson on a touch of a button, we should be able to do that with every officer that we've got in our division.
As I stated the night that Mr. Law was given his promotion, I had to then go and deal with, I believe it was Mr. Holt, who was then given disciplinary action actually for on the level of a verbal warning for the way he conducted himself during his interview. And then, therefore, after finding out the result of his interview, which then turned my attention away, there was no inspectors or anyone else available to deal with training that night. And by the time we were finished with that, Mr. Law was stay at 11.
When was this, sorry?
I'm not sure of exact dates, but this was when the round of applications and interviews were done for the recent promotions within the division.
Is that a week ago, 2 weeks ago, or a couple of days?
I believe Mr. Law stated the date. What was the date you got your promotion, Mr. Law?
It was the 23rd, 24th. My interview was if you bear with me, I believe it was on like the 19th, 20th of January.
So we're talking 20 days, 25 days you've been sergeant?
Yes.
So how many times have you been in the city since that?
Obviously with the second job it's hard, but I've been in a fair amount of times. I mean, my arrest stats speak for themselves. So.
How many times have you been on when Mr. Wilson or your telly's on?
Quite a lot. Yeah, quite a number of times. I'm going to go over 15, 20.
15, 20, okay. So is there any point within them 15 or 20, Mr. Wilson, that could have had any sort of training at all?
Yes, there's been plenty of opportunity for training sessions, but it's never been offered, never been talked about. I'm never aware of it, which is why I just continue doing the core basic traffic, giving out speedings and speeding fines and catching offenders. Right.
Okay. And obviously, just to answer back to that, Mr. Wilson, any of them given times, have they all been unavailable to do training sessions? Because I know obviously you're in quite a lot, aren't you? So just want to make sure that Mr. Law is unable at every single opportunity available to do the training, and the same with obviously all your other officers that you've got with you as well.
As I've already stated multiple times now, sessions aren't a possibility at the moment with the numbers we've got. If you take the max we ever have is 4 or 5 traffic officers. Right now, I believe we're leaving 2 traffic officers on duty on the streets because 3 of them are in this office still dealing with this. If I take my entire unit away for an hour or possibly even longer than that for proper training sessions, then I am leaving the day with no traffic officers.
So would you not?
Then I have other unit heads coming to me and complaining about how they're having criminals get away because we are not available to chase them.
So would you not agree that if we're in the middle of a pursuit and one of your traffic officers does something against the training conduct that you want, or the training procedure, etc., like hits someone at a super speed or does something wrong, bring him back into a disciplinary, and then he goes, well, I wasn't trained on that, then all of a sudden what avenue could we go? And I say, right, why wasn't he trained on that? Well, we don't have enough time because we're constantly chasing 999 calls around. That is the problem.
Right, so
where would we go with that?
That's basic level training. That's your level 3 training, is what speed you can pit at, when to pit, where to pit. The fact that we take into account the driving, the amount of cars on the road, the amount of pedestrians in the area, safety concerns around the pits.
Yep.
That's basic training that's done on day 1. The only additions to level 4 training is it's a little bit more challenging, and you get to pit at 80 miles per hour rather than 70.
Yep.
And you get an extra car to your locker.
Okay.
We're not talking as if it's fully unlocking and I've never been trained in that. Mr. Law has been trained in everything that he needs to do his duties as a traffic officer.
What about
Except the RS6.
What about the refresher that we obviously get response and armed to do? Obviously, if he was trained, when was you trained, Mr. Law? When did you have your level 3?
A good while ago, and I was also told that the level 4 was gate locked because I was a PC for quite a while. It was gate locked for sergeants, and you have to be a sergeant to get level 4. And level 4 operates with the RS6, which is a very fast particular car, which would give traffic officers the advantage. But I was trained in level 3. I don't know, a long time ago. I haven't got the dates of it, but it was a long time ago.
So again, obviously, I'm just putting it on a bit of a devil's advocate here. That, as I stated to everyone, we need to constantly, obviously, be refreshing each other, doing our training and stuff like that to make sure our standards remain high and push out. And obviously, when regards to level 4 is level 4. You know, people will get it when they get it, etc. We would like everyone to be level 4 trained, as I stated before Mr. Law come in. But obviously, we want to make sure that we're constantly maintaining our standards, which is why obviously we're doing training sessions. And as I've stated, but also for you guys, these dispatch calls, yes, of course, we need to keep ourselves out and about on duty. However, we do need to give ourselves some time to perform training sessions. If we don't do training sessions, we don't constantly improve in. We don't start to do, T-packs, for instance. We don't know when or who's going to be in what unit, what position for T-packs, and all types of different scenarios like that we can push forward with. And obviously, if we have to leave the force with no traffic units for an hour because they're all in training, I would rather you do that, get everyone training and get everyone to a good standard constantly, than obviously risk people just falling into bad habits and obviously not having refresher courses. And that is one thing that I do want to make sure that I get clear. I've already said it to response, and I've said it to armed, and they've obviously gone out and done regular trainings, and sometimes we've not had armed on the street, but that's because they are training, and hopefully when they are available, they then have the relevant, training to be able to undertake whatever comes at them. Same thing for you guys with training on traffic.
I have got some more points I would like to raise as well.
Okay.
I also noticed that Willie was on a LOA like myself. I took myself off LOA. I just wanted to make sure that he's okay to come into duty, as obviously he still is on LOA from the records. I just wanted to double check that before he came on today, he was mentally well fit and prepared for it. I don't need to know the reasons why, but I just want to make sure that he is okay, because I have got some concerns for him. If he's all right, that's all I'm asking.
Is this a fucking joke?
No, I was just asking if you're all right.
Mentally?
Or physically?
My LOA was because I'm full of the cold and feeling like crap and couldn't be bothered sitting dealing with this kind of stuff.
All right, okay. I was just that's what I'm asking. If you're fit and prepared to fulfill a duty, that's what I'm asking.
He's a superintendent. I'm sure he knows where he's fit and what he's not fit.
All right, that's what I was asking. It's a genuine question. Speaking on the topic of the failings, I want to raise some concerns that are quite worrying, boss. I've got some concerns that are in regards to Mr. Wilson not being PACE compliant. He has failed to offer people the free rights they're entitled to while in custody, and he's also been signing students off for things that are not done. You may need to get out your tablet because I'm going to be reading out some MDT numbers of his failings. MDT, if you can all have a look at it, it's not not disclosing it, you can have a look. MDT report ID 74 Delta 82252. I can read it again if you would like me to.
Yeah,
74 Delta 82252. It's an MDT written by Willie Wilson using a template, but has not confirmed that DNA or fingerprints were taken and the reason why they were or weren't, and he hasn't sentenced him by providing a guilty or non-guilty plea. Willie Wilson has not followed the correct guidelines and making sure that the correct boxes are ticked. Mr. Wilson has also pulled me up and pulled up.
Mr. Roberts, I'm going to intervene here and I'm going to request that an auditor be brought into this.
Why would you like that, sir?
Because auditors are here to audit the police force for a reason. I would like an auditor to be brought into this. I believe this is turning into a witch hunt now, and I would like an auditor here as representation for myself.
You're more than welcome to bring in a rep at this point. Yeah, absolutely.
No, I'm requesting an auditor, and I believe that I have the right to bring an auditor in.
A Federation rep.
No auditor.
Why would you want an auditor? They're only the rank
As a
of PC.
witness to this, because that is what the auditors are here for.
If you want to bring one in, you're more than welcome. Who would you like to call?
I'm just going to see who's available. I believe we have Mateo Gonzalez. Alpha 008. Are you available?
I don't have him on the thing. I've never met.
Can I borrow you
who's
and
Mateo?
the
I don't
chief's
think we've
office,
met.
please?
Diogo we met yesterday, but I have not met.
Thank you.
If he's asking for an order, do I need to caution him?
No.
Okay.
Sorry, mate. I'm just going to be on a meeting. If it's anything urgent, just deal with it as an inspector. Yeah, received. I'll seek you when I'm finished.
There's someone at the door, sir.
Oh, hold on. Let me. Hello.
Mateo, come on, please.
Hola, boss.
Oh, Mateo, I'd just like you to witness some stuff that's going on. If you don't mind taking a wee seat here.
Yes? Why? What is this?
It's discipline. Well, sorry, a meeting for Mr. Law after receiving a level 2 disciplinary. However, things seem to have turned into a witch hunt against myself.
Oh, okay.
Feel free to take a seat.
I will,
Welcome in.
I can fill you in, Mateo. I believe we spoke earlier, earlier on in the shifts and whatnot. This is a disciplinary meeting regards myself getting a level 2 written warning by Superintendent Willie Wilson for the way that I disobeyed a lawful order. As it's my right to be heard, I have now decided to use this as a perfect opportunity with the head of the police to raise my concerns about Willie Wilson's behaviour, attitude, and overall performance as a police officer. He has asked for a request of an auditor. I did have legal representation here, but they had issues. So I've decided while this interview was on tape that I could raise my concerns, which is I'm entitled to do. So he's asking
Can I ask you a question?
Yes,
is
of course.
Is this a misconduct heat meeting about him or about the boss?
This is my misconduct hearing. Mr. Roberts has opened a forum about if I want to raise any points that I'm concerned with. I can do that. I'm using that right too.
Right, but this is a misconduct about you, senor, not about him. So why is this being brought up?
But I have the right to be heard.
We have the right to be heard, but not in a misconduct meeting. This is about you, not him.
No, I said it's about him. I'm just raising my concerns.
About him.
Yeah, I'm entitled to do that.
Yes, but not in a misconduct meeting about yourself. That doesn't make sense.
More than
Just-
If you got an issue with the boss, you need to raise that formally with the chief through a formal meeting.
This is a formal meeting.
Well, okay. I would like to remain and hear what he has to say because I'd like to know if it's actually relevant and we should even be speaking about it.
Yeah, so
can I just ask you to repeat your comment about mile away?
Got him.
You put in an L away like myself, and you have not returned from it on the timesheet. So I've asked you a question to make sure that you are okay, that you've come in on shift today. And when you gave me it, that there was nothing else. Like you mentioned you had a cold or anything. So I was just making sure that when I took my L away off because I was fit for duty, and I'm asking him if he was fit to duty. That's a simple question.
Okay,
I can
so
ask that.
When did you come back on duty? Was it today?
Yes.
Today.
Oh,
Fuck's sake.
we need to get some medical for you.
I need the NHS.
Do you need a chocolate bar or?
I haven't eaten for hours. I'm very hungry.
Oh, I thought he dropped as well.
No,
Mateo,
luckily
Mateo,
not.
Well,
You
while
okay?
you're on the floor and you sort out.
Oh
everything,
god,
wait,
this
after
is
that.
turning into
So
a
you come
bloody.
back today, and you're questioning the boss as to whether he's appropriately be able to be in.
I've asked him if he was fit for duty when he issued me. There was nothing
Who
else
are you
that
to
would.
question that, though, senor?
I can question officers.
Well,
But isn't
I
that
tell
what
you
we're all
what,
doing?
then.
As I've
tell you
stated
what.
already, he is a superintendent, and if he feels he's safe to come back on duty, then he has that responsibility to bring himself back on duty.
I was under the impression that if he was in a bad mood,
Stop pricking on your finger here, mate.
it's not appropriate for him if he's in a bad mood when dealing with the members of the public. That's all I was
You're gonna
referring
have to call
to.
me a
But again, as I say, he's got that level of responsibility
Yeah, I'm
to
Senor boss, can I just interject about this?
go on.
So, Senor Law here, I did hear him on the radio today, and his attitude towards the boss here was not great. So does that mean I can question him coming off his LOA as to whether he's a person leaving
Hey.
you know what I mean? I think it's a very
Yo, official Harlow coming with the 5 gifted. Let's go.
That's perfectly fine, but I can ask the question.
not relevant to your misconduct.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what, let's end the misconduct, I take it, and then we'll start a formal meeting about Mr. Willie Wilson's behaviour.
That's not how it works, Senator. That's not how it works.
Okay, well, like I said,
If
he's
you wish
called you
to
and
do
it's...
this, then a bit like yourself, who was suspended this afternoon, earlier on this afternoon, and you've had time to think about what you've been suspended about. You cannot just ambush Senator Wilson in a meeting like this, trying to score points with the boss.
It's not about scoring points, it's about people that are breaking the law, sir.
Well, if they were breaking the law, then why didn't you report it at the time?
I was suspended.
What, so you've been suspended and decided to look through it whilst being suspended?
I was suspended, I can't raise anything. Mr. Wilson said that I can't come to the police station.
That is the biggest load of shit. No offense, boss. I apologize for swearing, but that is the biggest load of shit I've ever heard.
Well, if you're prepared to listen to the points that I've got, you'll probably hear some more.
Well, I can't wait to hear them. Yes, I cannot.
Okay. Well, if I'm happy to continue, I am.
NHS are en route. It might be worthwhile putting this on hold for a few minutes until they've...
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, of course. I'll jump down and go grab them.
I'm sitting on the radio waiting for them. They're going to radio.
Oh, they're going to radio, yeah?
If you want to just leave it to me, yeah.
Oh, no problem. I believe even this auditor is confused. Yeah, is confused. I think it's, like you say, it's turned into situation where we've opened the floor up. He's felt that he's been targeted because obviously he's then rejected the call, and then he's now felt this is the perfect time to say, well, hang on a minute, if I'm not perfect, then so is Mr. Wilson. I think true, yes, you bring up some points. I don't necessarily think bring up every point and you then say, look, I think there's quite a lot of situations here. Let's take it into a formal meeting.
Would you prefer to be treated downstairs or just bring them up to you?
If you could take me, no, let them come here.
Because it's kind of, I think it's kind of like we need Simfields here as his head to go through the points, and whether what would happen, he would bring them points up to me and Simfields, and not necessarily with Wilson in the room, so that we can obviously adapt on them points and then take them to Wilson. Because I think realistically, the way it's gone is kind of spotlight situation rather than I think probably the best way to do it would be to say, look, let's suspend or let's complete this hearing. If you've got something to bring up against, okay, cool, let's get Simfields and myself into a meeting, and potentially even Billingham if he's, you know, the same rank up there at the top, and we then highlight them points away from the limelight of Wilson, and then we can then go, okay, right, this is what we've got. Wilson will take it to Wilson, because the same situation that I had with Wilson before Mr. Law come in, I had a full conversation with with Wilson, and said, right, what's your point of view? What's everything that's done with Law? And then let's get to the bottom of it. And then I can then go away, get Law out of the situation, get Wilson in with Simfields and say, look, these are all the points that's been raised. Whether they're good or bad, etc., we can then either, say, what a load of rubbish with Wilson, he corrects it, or we say, well, he's got a fair point here, all these facts, etc., we need to do something about this. So, obviously, I think that's probably the best thing to do, because ultimately you wouldn't want, the two parties in the same room arguing at each other to begin with. You want it separate. I think that's probably where it's gone.
What kind? Oh, chocolate. I love this.
The only person, Rock, that Law can report it to above that is Simfields. But Simfields isn't on. That's why he's obviously come to me about it, and he's felt this is the right time. I think probably, it may be best to say, okay, let's you may have some points. Let's bring them points up with myself and Simfields rather than have it directed to Wilson, and then we can obviously address it and bring it to Wilson. Something like this disciplinary would have been terminated due to the digressing from point. Yeah, I think so. If I'm honest, like I say, it's the first sort of times I've dealt with something like this. So I'm still learning on the best way to deal with it. But as I said to you at the beginning, as I said to Wilson as well, we've got to be very on point with our procedures with Mr. Law, because he will, bring facts to the table and try and claim obviously all these different things. So you got to make sure he's spot on. And as I say, Law's attitude was incorrect, and he's obviously been dealt a level 2 for it, and he's gone through, and we've gone through the correct procedure now. So yeah, the moving forward, I think we should do the exact same as what we did with Law and Wilson. Have them separated first, discuss both, and then bring them in if we need to.
There we go. Perfect.
Thank you, paramedic. I appreciate it.
Most welcome.
Kai, thank you so much for the baby fox as well. I appreciate that.
Okey-dokey. Bye, PD people.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Adios, paramedic.
After you.
Gracias.
Yeah, no worries, mate.
Apologies for that, Senor Boss. I did not mean to.
No, that's fine. Are you all okay?
Yes, I'm fine.
Good stuff. Good stuff. I've never played it, Jack. I've never played it, so I can't comment on what I think of it.
So the weather, am I right?
It's a bit shit at the moment, isn't it?
Yes, it's
Just
not
a
great.
little bit.
Just while obviously Wilson is out of the room, Mr. Law, with obviously the situation that you're obviously wanting to bring up.
Yeah.
Obviously I understand Mr. Wilson's probably getting a little bit irate in obviously where he's coming, because obviously at the end of the day what he feels is probably a big spotlight that's put on him.
Oh no.
Now I would obviously ultimately hate for anyone to feel like they've just about to hit a bus, crash into them, etc. Would I think what might be the better option is whether obviously you've got concerns and you're raising up through the chain of command, absolutely, and we want to obviously hear these because everyone has the right to obviously bring them. I think maybe what it could be a good idea is to address these issues with yourself and Simfields, because obviously he is the person that is overseeing Mr. Wilson. Once we've got everything out on the table with yourself, and it's
I've
all
tried with Simfields, boss. And
okay,
it's got
but
me nowhere.
you haven't tried with myself in the room at the same time, have you?
For me, he's challenged my conduct. I'm more than entitled to challenge his. This is the forum for it. If he is the challenger, he can be challenged.
There's no aspect that people can't be challenged, but I just think there might be a slightly better way of going about being challenged, and whether that's being in a bit more of a safer environment where we can address everything without, backwards and fro, and then we can take it to the relevant parties to discuss exactly
He's got his order here.
what the issues are.
He's got his order here.
Senator Wilson, are you prepared to allow Mr. Lord to have his points, and we'll listen to them, and we'll see if they've got any relevance to this whole thing?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so just before, as you come into the room, Mr. Wilson, as we've done with obviously Mr. Law first, I've come directly to yourself, and I've obviously asked for your point of view as the person that's pushing it, and got everything. We've sat down, we've had a good discussion around what we should and shouldn't do, and the legalities and everything, and we've gone into the meeting happy. The same situation I've just asked to Mr. Law and said, obviously I don't want it to feel in any way that there's a spotlight on yourself or you've got to answer certain questions or whatever. Ultimately, he's got points that he needs to raise, which is fine. And ultimately, I would like to hear them with potentially Simfields. And obviously, then we would address them to yourself anyway. But at this moment in time, if he's wanting to bring them to the table and you're happy to listen, then I'm happy to continue. But it's only if you're happy to continue now you have someone here to help you.
Yep, no, I've got a witness to hear this, then yes.
Okay,
Boss,
cool.
Could I just interject one thing?
Go for it.
This must be stated. If Senor Law here is going to bring any criminal accusations towards Senor Boss, that I would request this meeting being terminated immediately to give Senor Boss chance to actually get representation legally.
Absolutely. Any legal or any unlawful acts from Mr. Wilson, that is, if there is anything that's brought up, then of course, obviously, he has the right to a lawyer, and obviously we'll address that. So obviously, we just make that standardly clear. Is there anything in this brought up that you're going to bring up, Mr. Law, that may be unlawful from Mr. Wilson, that he will require potential seeking advice?
Not this time, no.
Not at this time. Okay, so let's continue then, as long as there's nothing on them lines. Life coming in with
Please
Brandon.
interject,
How are we doing? Thanks so
Mateo,
much
if
for
you
the
feel
tier
that
1.
any kind of criminal
I appreciate you.
offence-
Sorry guys, we're in a meeting, but it's good to listen
Sure you
to.
will.
Let's find out.
So yeah, I'm
I
going to bring up another
just want to
MDT,
try and
Mr.
protect Wilson as much as I
Wilson's.
can.
Just check on your tablets.
And both parties, in fact, because I don't want
the
people to
incident
feel like they're
reference number
being
is gonna be-
targeted. But if they've done something wrong, then obviously they've done something wrong. We need to obviously ultimately ping that up.
It is Delta 370631 Echo. This is an MDT that shows Willie Wilson as the highest officer on duty at that scene, in company with a student officer, and it refers back to the previous MDT that Mateo was missed, where Mr. Wilson has not advised the student officer to follow the correct procedures in sentencing, following the P9 sentencing guidelines that would require that if there is a guilty plea or non-guilty plea, that it is recorded correctly and ticked in the appropriate checklist. I asked the question, has this male been sentenced? And if the answer is yes, please can you document it correctly? Or let me know, please.
Who wrote this MDT?
That was the student that was being studented by under the company of Mr. Wilson.
Okay, but that's not Mr. Wilson that's been filling that in, correct?
No, it is not.
So whose responsibility is it to take those ticks?
That is the officer in question.
So I'm not sure what relevance that has to this.
The relevant would be to the appropriate above MDT, where it shows that Mr. Wilson has written his own MDT, where he's failed to do the appropriate checklist.
What number is that? Sorry, I wasn't here when you said that one.
74 Delta 82252. And the question that I asked is not confirmed if DNA or fingerprints were taken and the reasoning why they weren't, and if the sentencing guidelines were followed again. As a student,
Fingerprints are on the database for everyone in the city.
There's no
They're taken to
DNA
the
or
airport when they fly in.
is there's no DNA or mugshot? Is there any reason why that's the case? I think is it 4 times that he's been arrested. I don't know who by.
You're going back to the 10th
speeding.
of January, mate. We deal with a lot of people, so your question on that one I can't answer.
Most of these are traffic offences, other than that one arrest that he's obviously been arrested for.
Bosh, may
That's
I
fine.
just interject?
Yeah.
So, Senor Lord talks about incidents where they have not been ticked. I'm looking at an incident that he wrote out. 7 Charlie 0 Echo Bravo 1 Bravo Charlie. And he hasn't
Which one's
done
that?
either.
which one is that?
Logan Kazin.
Which, the warrant?
Is that no? This is an incident, Senor.
I can't see that one on my thing. Let me have a look. What's the title number?
The title number is TVIU Logan Kazin Theft of Motor Vehicle. Sergeant Lore, 8th of the 2nd, 24.
Plead not guilty to it.
He pleaded not guilty, but you still didn't tick the things.
He said he was, yeah. Well, how can I do not guilty if he's not guilty? That's a guilty tick. And I've recorded it on there that he was processed. Did I find him?
Yes.
I think he was fined. I don't know if he was actually. No, I don't think I did.
So you're telling me you didn't find him?
No, I didn't. There was, I have to check my body cam. I think there was issues with his payments or something. So I said, don't worry about it. We'll sentence you for more time. I'm not going to send someone in a negative equity to pay a fine if he was asking for more time. I think that was a compromise. I wasn't sure, but I have got body cam of that instance, so I will verify that and double check.
Okay, continue.
Yeah. What was the previous one? Oh, have a look at MDT 75 Echo 6 Alpha 6 Delta Echo.
Sorry, can you just repeat that?
75 Echo 6 Alpha 6 Delta Echo. This was an MDT that was written by Willie Wilson that does not follow any template at all. Mr. Wilson has also made references to myself and other officers that he would like the template to be used, but again, he's not followed his own directive order there and not used a template at all.
So is template policy that it has to have the template on it?
According to every officer that has spoken to me about it, yes, there needs to be a
Bethan's coming in with
template
the finger hearts. Let's go. Thank you so much.
I'm aware of.
The policy that you have to fill the incidents in with that template?
So template is the template is there for a policy. You use a template.
So that is a policy, boss. Yes, I'm asking the boss, the GC1. Is that the directive that you're giving?
There's many people that use different templates, so it'd be hard for me to pinpoint the exact using the exact template. I even myself use different templates to the one that's advised. As long as the correct information is on there and we have enough information to sort it out, then that is sufficient.
Okay.
So if for instance, if someone brings a lawyer back to the station and says I was wrongfully arrested, then obviously as long as you put enough information on that MDT to warrant yourself arresting him, then that is sufficient enough. You don't need to go through a certain template or a certain thing, providing there is sufficient evidence on that MDT. That is suffice for myself.
So, boss, just to answer the question I asked, there is no policies to state these templates have to be used as long as the
that is
information
correct.
is there.
Right, can I just clarify from my point of view on this one as well? The reason there's no template followed is, do we have a template for warrant issuing?
Well, that was my next question, but I was interrupted by...
Yeah, I'm asking questions now, please.
Okay.
Do we have a template for warrants? Asking GC1 here.
No, not directly for a warrant, but it should be just
Right, so
a template or a
this MDT
MDT.
in question was initially a warrant. However, the suspect was never caught, therefore the warrant expired. And the MDT system itself automatically transfers that over to an incident.
Have you got any others, Senor Lore?
Yeah, the question was that one was going to be, this reads like a warrant. Why is it not titled as a warrant rather than an incident? But if the system changes that, then that answers the question.
Okay.
I just want to raise some more an issue in regards to a newly promoted sergeant that was promoted to the traffic division. I have no issues with this sergeant. I actually quite like him. Personally, I think he's done a great job.
Could I interject? We shouldn't be speaking about people that are not here.
He's not speaking about him. I'm giving context, Mateo.
You are. You're speaking about him, and he's not here to defend himself. So I
It's
don't
not.
think it's
It's
relevant.
not. It's not against him. I'm speaking in his praise. If you let me finish, so let me answer the question.
How about you check your attitude first? I don't know who you actually think you are, Senor, but your attitude stinks. I'm sorry, boss, but this man's behavior since I've come in the room, the way he speaks to the superintendent over there, he has no respect. And this is supposed to be a sergeant.
Anyway, so this officer in question, the sergeant, has a checklist that has not been signed off by anyone. His name is Tim. I want to stress, before I was interrupted, that I actually believe that Tim is a great officer and a credit to the traffic division. But again, nothing was ever ticked off for this officer by anyone, which is in question is that he's been promoted to a traffic division and to a sergeant with no one checking his actual profile.
Looking at Tim's profile right now, he's been checked off for all apart from 1, 2, 3. So I wouldn't say nothing's been checked off, and the 3 things that he has done could in fact have been checked off there and then by the superior officer who done his PC test. Now, I don't know why this has been brought up in here, because I am not a response superintendent, I'm a traffic superintendent, and checklists for students and PC tests is something that I have never and will never be a part of. I now, yes, get involved in the interview process and the induction process. However, such as the PC tests, I keep that and leave that to response, because that is their decision on whether they feel that the people are good enough to then come into their unit.
Mr. Wilson, if I stop you there, I think the only answer we need to hear from this is Tim Street is a traffic officer, correct?
Yes, he is.
Have you done a level 3 training rate with him?
Yes, he's had his level 3 and level 4 now.
Fine, fantastic, no problem. Move on. Next one.
Yeah, that was the only concern raised. I just want to have some final comments. I believe that Mr. Wilson has not made any training for officers other than a speed trap, which was a failure. Not for his part. I think it was just a city issue that caused a lot of issues for us. But the preparation was poor. I believe that he's shown a lack of leadership for the unit. and his lack of understanding in the leadership role, multiple failings in following the code of ethics constituted a misconduct in its own part. In regards to not following other policies, that can be decided amongst other officers. It would only be my suggestion that with the stuff that we've spoken about today in outlining his failures, that he should be stripped of his rank and the leadership of the role. I believe that Wilson is a good officer, but he's definitely not a leader.
What has this misconduct meeting become?
Okay. Well,
What is this?
thank you for your obviously points towards the case. That is obviously for myself to decide, and obviously not yourself. You obviously raised points that you know you're entitled to, as I say. I will look into all officers, just like you know, the superintendents that lead divisions and set examples, and you know, they're all held to a high standard, etc. Anyway, and obviously moving forwards, let's just get back to the original point of obviously the reason why we're here. The attitude towards yourself, as obviously explained previously, you have got your level 2 warning for that. The attitude, obviously, in here, as we say, you're entitled to give your opinions. However, obviously, we will take that up in a separate environment where it's not potentially targeted in any way. And I've taken on board everything that you have said, and it's not the case of it will be backburned, everything. Obviously, we will make sure we look into every situation that is raised by any officer. But for today, back to the original point, obviously a level 2 has been issued. You have received your paperwork, is that correct?
Yeah, since my email, yeah.
Fantastic. Okay. Is there any further points from Mr. Wilson or yourself that you would like to bring up?
I just don't want to be pursued for this. This was a safe environment. I've raised all my concerns, and hopefully it can be moved on from it.
Absolutely. I mean, listen, we're all officers. We're all here with our own opinions, and we'd hate for anyone to bottle it up and obviously just go about their day, etc. We want to air anything possible, and it's doing it in a safe environment. Again, as we've stated earlier, the radio situation is shocking. Yourself obviously refusing to do stuff over the radio is shocking. There's a place and a time for everything. Your superior has told you to do an order. I expect you to follow that order. And if you do not like the order, then of course you bring him back to a safe environment like here, where it's out of everyone else. And obviously you ask the relevant questions in a appropriate manner in order to gain the relevant answer that you're looking for. As stated, I'll take on your points and we'll obviously document them and investigate them with Mr. Wilson, but also with Mr. Sinfield as his next higher up. And obviously we will move forward from there to decide what we do from there. But for today, this does conclude the hearing from yourself.
No, I'm sorry, I haven't had my opinion.
Oh, so you're totally right. Apologies. My apologies. You say yours.
Well, if I'm honest, this is showing exactly why you've received this level 2. You show a complete and utter disregard for any chain of command. This has been a meeting about your behaviour and your attitude within the police service, and you've completely turned it around and just been extremely childful with nitpicking about MDTs that you've clearly been sitting on for quite some time, which I'm quite concerned the fact that you've noticed some discrepancies and not even raised them with higher-ups within the unit, never mind the force. You don't communicate with anyone within traffic. You have segregated yourself.
The guy in white is a real life cop,
done
yeah.
the exact same. You've both segregated yourselves away from the rest of the unit, and now you're coming in here throwing accusations and nitpicking at me just because you've received disciplinary for your misconduct. Personally, right now, I feel like the level 2 should be escalated, but I'm going to leave that to Mr. Roberts because I'm obviously feeling a bit angry and concerned at what I've heard today, especially the fact that GC1 sat by and willfully let an officer question someone else's mental ability to do their job.
Senior Boss, may I just make a point?
Mm-hmm.
You said that this is a safe environment for everyone involved. I would like to challenge that and say that this has not been a safe environment for Senior Willie. He has been totally ambushed by this officer who has had hours of preparation for this meeting since he was suspended. And Senior Wilson has been completely ambushed in this meeting, and it has been allowed to be continued by yourself and myself. Obviously, I will take that on board. But I think that everything that's been thrown at Senor Wilson is unjust and unfair. And this officer's attitude towards his superiors is quite disgusting. He's literally just asked you to sack him from his position, strip him of his rank. How do you expect him to follow him going forward if he doesn't think that he should be in the rank that he is?
I think you missed out the conversation with Tail because Mr. Roberts has been through quite a fair trial here with what was been said in regards to the misconduct, and he stated some points of which are agreeing with myself and also disagreeing. I also want to clarify that I was not asking for his mental welfare. I was asking for his physical welfare, which he clarified that he had a cold, and I was asking that he is okay. And before
so you deny the fact that you used the word mental?
I never denied it. I said I was clarifying your physical, and I said that you're physical and mentally well to do the thing, which is a perfectly asking question. I wasn't trying to push a button that you're alluding to here before, but I was asking if you're okay because you were on an LOA like myself, which I have got rescinded, and I was just making sure that you've done the same. That is not I was asking a very fair question. So I apologise if you've taken it the wrong way, but that is not the way that I was trying to push that.
So getting back to the answer.
I was concerned for a colleague and my boss. That's what it was.
Getting back to the answer of the safe environment. This environment here is out of the way of everyone. Everyone in this meeting obviously knows why we're here. The walking around the rooms and discussing various topics. Obviously, at the end of the discussion, everyone was happy, and we then obviously asked the room what anyone had any further things to bring up. Mr. Law obviously said he'd had a couple of things to bring up, and throughout, obviously myself and Mr. Wilson listened to them things, and then obviously at some point Mr. Wilson felt that it was needed for some obviously help in order to make sure this didn't get out of hand and out of environment. And obviously not only that, I've also spoken directly to Mr. Law separately from Mr. Wilson, and I've also spoken to Mr. Wilson while in the room and said, this is what's happening. I feel that maybe we should discuss this separately. And Mr. Wilson on multiple occasions said, no, it's okay, let's continue and hear what he's got to say. So as I say, this is in a safe environment where the people in this room here are the only ones that are currently having any influence on the conversation, and at any point it can be stopped. We also said at any point it can be terminated and stopped, and obviously any legal representation or stopped in general at any point that can happen. So I strongly stand by the fact being a safe environment to do so. Again, comments made by both parties obviously were well listened. Again, the comments by Mr. Law, again, is unacceptable with regards to telling me how I should be doing this job. Yes, you have opinions and stuff like that. Going to the level of telling someone that they should be demoted and sacked, again, is not what I want to be hearing and unacceptable, Mr. Law, firstly. And I do want to obviously raise that point. And the level of conduct, yes, we're in a safe environment here, but obviously I run the show. You give me the evidence, just the same as a judge would. You give the judge the evidence, and the judge then decides the exact scenario that we're currently in here.
Which I did.
You did give me the evidence, but you also tried to give me the verdict as well.
Give an opinion on it, but yeah, that's fine. I'm done with everything here, though.
Mr. Law, we've had quite an ordeal tonight. Can you take your level 2 warning, and I will obviously give you an email back tomorrow afternoon to obviously with the final outcome to where we proceed from here, okay? I would recommend, obviously, you go get yourself to bed, get a nice early night, and we will discuss further tomorrow on what we need to do from there, okay?
Can I have my level 2 warning printed and given to me, please?
We are currently a paperless city regards to that type of thing. We have emailed it to you. Which you've already obviously accepted, and you've read it out. So that is sufficient in order for us to document. What I will do is obviously make sure that email is screenshotted and put into your disciplinary logs. But for the time being, remain off duty, and I will email you back when we're in a safe environment to have you back on shift.
Safer one.
Or sorry, when I say safer, I mean an environment that we're happy for you to be back in.
No, I'm only messing. Yeah, that's not a problem. I think
Fantastic.
It's been very productive.
Mr. Wilson, any final comments before we let Mr. Law out?
No, I'd like to speak to you privately after this.
Yeah, absolutely, no problem. Mr. Law, wait to hear from me, and
Yeah, not a problem.
have a good evening.
Wilson, Mateo.
Adios, senor.
See you later.
Would you like me to leave, Senor Wilson?
No, you can stay.
Let me go to the next seat along so I can hear a bit better.
Yeah, perfect. Come on, cuddle up.
Oh, you don't want to cuddle up to me, senor?
Cool. Obviously, that we want to obviously make sure again for yourself. It did start to feel a bit of a witch hunt. I'm going to be honest with you, it's the same thing. And obviously, we said at any point to obviously stop that, to be able to obviously do it in a better environment that maybe you don't feel in that type of thing. You've got obviously some things you want to raise to me.
I want to know what actions you're going to take against them for the misconduct within that interview, that meeting, anyway.
So ultimately, I don't agree with what he's obviously said. His attitude towards obviously yourself in that environment and also in the thing is unacceptable, as we've stated. Gave him a level 2. We've given him the option to say his opinions. Personally, I don't think he should be able to turn around and say, I think you should be sacked. Oh, sorry, not sacked. You should be demoted. Good officer, but you should be demoted. We're in an environment where we've allowed him to push or give his opinion.
And
I think
remarks about my mental capacity to work, as we all did hear it.
Did you say something to me, senor? Sorry?
So I was just speaking to the room about his remarks about my mental capacity to work regarding my LOA. At no point in my LOA did I state why I was LOA. I could have been LOA because I was visiting family for all he could have known. But he's decided to remark against my mentality to be back at work.
I think it was a slight dig at the fact that he said you should have been LOA, but you've come back early. Is everything okay? And then obviously you've said, what do you mean by that? I was feeling ill and sick. He was like, yeah, just making sure that you're in a mental state, I think it was the words, mental state to be here. And you said so mentally, and he went more physically as well. I think it was a very sly dig, personally.
May I be upfront and honest? Senor Law's attitude to that whole thing was a load of shit. He spoke to you, Senor, boss.
Sorry, I shouldn't stretch my legs.
He had no regard for anything as to what anyone was saying to him. And I'm sorry, maybe this isn't your fault, boss. It's not. But he has totally just ambushed Senor Wilson. He has spent the last couple of hours looking shit up whilst off duty to try and get him in the shit. That's disgraceful. And if he's been sitting on all this information for so long, that is also disgraceful. That is what you call somebody who just wants to get him in the shit just because he's in the shit. And when I said this isn't a safe environment, I know what you mean by when you say a safe environment. But I must say, I think Senor Wilson has been treated very unfairly in terms of the way that he has been treated by that officer. Not by yourself, obviously. You are obviously here, but senors, that was disgraceful. I've never seen anything like that before in my life. Misconduct meetings should be about the individual that's being there. This isn't an opportunity for them to speak and say what they don't like about XYZ. That's another meeting in itself. This meeting was about him, not Senor Wilson.
Not to the officer's face, certainly. If you're going to bring something up, obviously you do it in a controlled environment.
In a proper meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Like he would have to send you an email and say, boss, I'd like to meet with you because I've got some concerns about my division and about the leadership, etc. And then come to you properly. And that would be then for you to decide whether there's any misconduct or not. And I'm sorry, I've got to say this straight. We're all here to police the streets and get the criminals off the streets. This bullshit about taking a fine and guilty I'm sorry. That is the most anal thing I've ever heard anyone try and pick someone up on. Anal. And I heard that officer, the way he spoke to the boss before, when he said about the unmarked cars, which is why myself and my brother got out of the unmarked we were in, even though that's our car itself. We got out of that and we got in a marked car because we know the boss wanted that. But the way that officer spoke to the boss was disgraceful, and the boss asked my opinion on it, and I gave him my opinion, which is what I think the boss ended up doing.
I agree. I think what the best outcome right at this second is, obviously I've suspended him currently and told him he needs to wait until I get him to come back on duty. I think the best course of action, I believe they will be back tomorrow, is I have a sit-down meeting with obviously my two counterparts, Simfields and Billingham, and we'll get obviously yourself in, being head of traffic as well, to discuss what we do further with Mr. Law. Now, obviously, we don't want an environment, we've got it in arms, we've got, we don't want an environment where people are not happy to come in, or people are witch hunting, or people are trying to actively do stuff that is going to get, people backs up and stuff like that. So I think the best course of action at this moment in time is to leave him off duty, for us to have a proper conversation with each other, to discuss how we move forward. And we're happy because ultimately, yourself, Mr. Wilson, is sitting at the other end of the table to this. There is points that he's obviously brought up, and there's also points where he really didn't need to bring up or have certain digs. So that needs to be addressed. We have obviously got the level procedures, and obviously the next step would be anyway a full suspension of potentially up to 7 days before the final one, where it could be a dismissal. I think the best course of action is for us to sleep on it, take everything from it, and then obviously we come back and have a formal discussion tomorrow, or when next everyone is available to work out what the best course of action for him is. Would you agree?
Are you asking me or Senior Wilson, boss?
Mr. Wilson, that is, of course.
I mean, yeah. I'd like to say a couple more things. Obviously, as head of traffic, my responsibility is to look out for the people within my unit and to make sure that they feel safe going to work and are looked after. Your job as GC1 is to do that for the entire force, especially your superintendents. As a superintendent, the only people I have to look over me and give me that kind of care is yourself, Sinfields, and Billingham. So I'm going to make it very clear that I expect severe action to be taken on this one. I would be looking for Law to be removed from traffic as a minimum. Is how can I go forward running this unit, who, if you speak to any of my inspectors or other sergeants, Tim, even Utelli, Closeoff, Johnson, any of them, they are more than happy with my leadership of this unit and more than happy with the direction, because they talk to me, they find out my ideas, they know what I've got in the pipeline for this. And they are not a single complaint would you get from one of them. I could guarantee it right now. Callum Law has come in here receiving disciplinary action for his own actions and decided to turn that around on me in the most unprofessional and personally targeted way he could have done it. How can I go forward leading a unit with someone like that in it? He shows no regard for the chain of command, no regard for senior officers, and absolutely no regard for me. He does not. He's clearly stated himself he doesn't think I'm fit to lead the unit. So how is he going to continue in traffic if he doesn't think that the leader he has is fit to do the job? To the extent where he thought it was acceptable for him today to undermine my authority and do as he pleases and ignore what I've told him to do. I would be extremely, extremely disappointed in your leadership if you fail to deal with this appropriately.
I agree. Like I say, we will get into a formal discussion tomorrow, go around all the points, but also around how we deal with this. Because obviously, as I say, we've gone through a lot of points today, a lot of points that I've raised towards yourself with regards to leadership, and of course, obviously, with regards to Mr. Law as well. So I think, as you say, the best course of action is to have a sleep on it, digest everything that we've obviously spoken about today between myself and yourself with regards to leadership, and also with regards to what's happened with Mr. Law. I don't believe the setting that is currently created is a good one to act on it. It's always best to have a sleep on it and then obviously come back with a fresh mind and obviously a couple of new pair of eyes as well to bring their addition, and obviously we deal with this appropriately. And of course, the correct outcome will happen, and it will be across all of us coming to the correct decision. It'd be unfair, as I say, right now, for us to jump at whatever gun and we make a decision today based off of what we've just been witness to. So let's come back tomorrow with a fresh pair of eyes and a couple of other higher ups that will be able to cast their opinion and maybe even have fresh ideas as well with how to move forward with it, whether that's to remove, to change, to whatever.
I'm just gonna make one final comment, and this, I'm hoping this is still a safe space.
Absolutely, it's always a safe space in here.
Since day dot, even just as when I was an inspector alongside Joel Jackson for traffic, when Callum Law was first put into the unit, brought into the unit by myself and Joe, he was then removed for his attitude by Joel Jackson. That was then reversed by yourself. And I am aware, and I know that you and Mr. Law are friends. You have served in police forces before together. That set a clear precedent that he had to make favours with the boss. I then had an issue that was raised with me as the leader of the unit at that point in regards to Law using his vehicle to nudge another one away from the gates. I again tried to do my job as the leader of this unit, and you interjected and stated that you had already dealt with it. To my misknowledge, I did not know that, but again set another clear precedent that he is your mate. I want to know now that no matter who your mates are, you are the professional GC1 that we all need, and there is no mate favours in this force, and that this is going to be dealt with appropriately and everyone gets treated equally within this force. Because since you have arrived here, and this is no fault of your own, and this is not me having a dig, but there has been multiple comments throughout the force about mates. And I'm pretty sure you'll be aware of that yourself. And I have no issues with any of the decisions you've made up until this point. But this decision, for me personally, is going to set a big example for the police force going forward.
I think you've answered your own question already, because ultimately, people complaining about friendship groups or anything like that, there is friendship groups throughout. There's cliques. You guys, you've got your own friendship group within traffic. You look after the relevant people put in the right position. We've got armed, the exact same thing. We've got a little clique and friendship group within armed that are going against people. I have been doing this job 3.5 years. I've picked up people along the way as I go, and I know certain people can do certain jobs to a certain standard. Yes, of course, when you are put into a position to make the best job that you possibly can, you want to put the relevant people in the job to that you can trust and make sure that do the job correctly. And of course, there has been obviously elements of that throughout. And as you say to today, you've still not said that any decision I've made is a bad one. And of course, look where we are today. The force is fantastic. The force is thriving. We've got more officers in the force than they've ever had. And the police standards are phenomenal. And obviously still improving. There's still lots more work to be done. This friendship group that you're talking about ultimately has been formed throughout the generations of time, and will still have more people to add. And of course, the friendships that I create in here is purely from me going out and dealing with people and patrolling the streets together. And I make friends with everyone. And as you've stated already, the decisions I made to today have got no influence on friendships or anything like that. As just like yourself, you were put into the spot after being interviewed. Every person that's been put into a spot to date, I have ensured that has had an interview in a formal environment, and everyone has had the equal opportunity to get that position. Am I correct in saying that?
Yes.
Perfect. So I then can't be questioned on decisions I make moving forward until I make them decisions. if at any point that the decision I make, as I've stated, I know the Billingham decision that I made was not going to be liked by some. However, I've made it. It's gone with it, and it's worked. And again, I will continue to make decisions that I feel is correct, but also certain decisions can't just be made by myself because of the nature of who we've got around us. And as I've stated, this kind of decision needs to be made with multiple people, so we all have the relevant knowledge and we can all come to an agreement and we're all happy with. Certain decisions can be made by me on my own, and most decisions that I feel need to be made by others, we can all make together. We'll all be in a safer environment and we'll all have our own opinions, and we can cast it and we can make that relevant decision that we need to.
Yep.
Fantastic. Cool. Is there anything else you want to bring up?
No, that's enough for me.
Fantastic. I appreciate obviously coming in. The time is taken. Apologies it's gone to the way it did. Obviously, neither of us were aware of how it would go. However, obviously...
This is exactly why I requested that you be here.
I understand. Yeah, I understand. Of course, we're all entitled to do certain things. So let's have a sleep on it, and we'll be back tomorrow.
Yep.
Good man.
Thank you very much.
Take care, buddy.
Adios, boss.
Adios, buddy. I'm nice to meet you anyway. I don't think we've met.
And you, senor. Yes, and you, boss.
Right. Let me go on to here a second. Manage employees. Yeah, cool, because he's not on it, so it makes sense. Cool. Cool. Well, there we go, guys. There we go. That was a meeting and a half, wasn't it? Think you all need to remember Callum Law is a character. Yeah, absolutely, guys. Remember what I said at the beginning. Character is different. Callum Law is an absolute wanker in the city. He will be a wanker, and he always will be. He'll get himself sacked from most police forces because of the way he conducts himself and his attitude towards the police force. We have it in other areas. We're trying to stamp it out as well. And ultimately, you know, we have to set precedents. We have to set examples. And unfortunately, Callum Law in himself is a character that always pushes boundaries and sometimes pushes them too far. But that is Callum Law. That is not his calculated. That is not Callum himself. It is his character. And, you know, I think sometimes I have thought about it, right? I would love to build another character and go be an absolute wanker on stream and in the city and just tell everyone there whatever and like try and cause as much drama, because sometimes people then go, we know Diggy's not okay. We know he's not that type of character, but he's trying his character and says an absolute idiot. And sometimes it needs someone like that to showcase what they're capable of. You know, for instance, anyone watches the Mexican brothers when they're in, for instance, they do stuff that they don't normally do, or do, you know, corruption stuff that we wouldn't accept or allow, but they're doing it because they're characters. But you get them in a normal environment, you know what Tiny Tim's like, completely different to his other characters. And it's the same